Ladies and gentlemen, you already know what time it is. This is episode 18 of the Space City Sports Talk podcast.
H-Town's Trillis Sports Podcast.
I like this intro. You already know who it is. I am the host, Marco Alvarado, alongside
the co-host, Corben Carter-Dixon. What's up, people?
And today we have a very special guest. Very, very special. He goes by the name of H-Town.Digital. H-Town.Digital, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, and thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, for sure, brother. I've seen your work on IG. I really enjoy it. I had to reach out to you because you sound like you know a thing or two that, you know, the followers and listeners can relate to. So I had to reach out to you to see if you can do this, and here we are. How you doing? And tell us a little bit about your Instagram page.
So I'm doing all right. Thanks for asking. How about are you doing?
Oh, I'm fine. Cor, how we doing?
Oh, I'm heated right now from the last 3 games, the Astros, but I'm good.
Oh, I think all of us are. But before we dive into any of the action, H-Town Dig, tell us about your page and what you do.
So this pretty much started as a Texans fan page, like in the mid of 2019, before, you know, all the mess happened, like a true mess.
Right. Yes, preach.
And after that, I started looking more into the Astros or the Rockets stuff because, you know, I was like, how about if this team goes to, you know, that word, the 4-letter word, which actually happened. And then I was like, you know, yeah, I think it's my work covering the Rockets and the Astros besides the Texans. So I went that direction. And now, somehow I have a large following, still not enough. I still want to get to a higher level because honestly I want to reach out to new people. But it's just the beginning. That's how I see it.
Well, guess what? We're on your list now, so welcome to our show. Yeah,
I appreciate that. I'll have you guys on my page from time to time as well. If you guys want to go live, you guys are more open to.
We're down. We're down.
I'm down. It doesn't matter.
New ideas.
You said you started off as a Texans page. Why was that the first team you wanted to go with?
The reason why is because actually that's the first team that I actually felt true passion for in the city of Houston because I don't know if you knew this, but soccer is my number 1 sport. And then I started watching football and getting obsessed with it, watching other teams play as well, not only the Texans. And I truly enjoy the game of football. And yeah, that's how I made that decision, Texans over any other team. But now my opinion changed of that, obviously.
Yeah, because we got Pastor E running the damn team.
We got Kyle McNair not caring about the organization.
Kyle McNair, you know, it's the same thing.
All he cares about is video games. That's it.
I think he cares more about what he has on his barbecue plate every time he has lunch. But you know, that's just me. But
other than that, he doesn't care about the team.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I think, like I said before we started this, I told you that we share the same interest a lot of the times, and I feel like I said, I just had to get you on here, brother. So I'm glad we were able to do this.
Yeah, it means a lot.
All right, so just for the people that don't know, the first-time listeners, if you're coming from H-Town Digital or if you're coming from our new Instagram page that we had made, you can follow us at Space City Sports Talk. And also you can follow H-Town Digital at htown.digital on Instagram. Is that the Instagram handle, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So, yeah, you can follow both of us on there. Of course, we'll plug in our socials when that time comes. But, fellas, I'm ready to talk baseball.
The boys are back. The mics are back, and we talking smack.
So, let me get some analysis in right quick. I'm going to go first. H-Town, I want you to go second whenever I bring you in. And, Corb, I want you to chime in as well after H-Town.
Can I lead off with the first question?
Oh, you want to lead off?
Yeah.
Do you want to lead off?
H-Town Digital. Let me ask you a question, my friend. What is your status far as the current Houston Astros situation right now? As far as
would you say it's like from a ranking of 1 through 10? Is that what you're trying to say?
Far as like playoff scenario wise.
Playoff scenario.
What do you think our chances look like?
As possible. Mm-hmm. Since we're being on a 4 losing streak in September is quite concerning. I'm not saying they're going to miss the playoffs or not going to be able to clinch the division, but it's truly getting concerning, especially the type of players that we're going to face in the playoffs, starting with the pitchers and the hitting lineups. It's kind of a worry.
Yeah, I have a lot of concerns as well. Let me ask you this question: what team are you
most afraid of
in the postseason,
or concerned about? I should say.
Would that be considered too in the World Series or only in the American League?
In the American League.
Oh, in the American League?
Yes, as far as in our conference.
I will say with the Rays, obviously, they're the number 1 seed in the league for a reason. And, yeah, the Rays are really concerning, starting with their pitchers, which are elite, regardless that they don't have I forgot the pitcher's name that they have. That got,
Tyler Glasnow?
What's it called? Caught using illegal substances. Tyler Glasnow, I believe, right?
Yes, Tyler Glasnow.
So I'm not sure if he's going to be playing the postseason or not.
He's not going to be playing.
They have an amazing rotation.
He's not going to be playing. He's out with Tommy John surgery, actually. He'll be there on the side. He'll be right there in the dugout.
So let me ask you, let me ask you this. What is your opinion on the potential first-round matchup against the Chicago White Sox?
Oh, yeah, I was going to get into that, too. There's many people not taking them seriously for some reason.
Oh, really?
I think the Chicago White Sox are still a scary team to face in the postseason.
Oh, really?
No mean to cut you off, htown Digital. I'll be honest with you. I have been thinking about this weeks and weeks and weeks. And to be honest with you, I know I feel two-faced on this, but at the same time, I know reality is reality. I feel like the White Sox are a clone of us, basically. And the reason why I say that, they're a mix of prospects that basically, came through the system like us. They got veteran pitching like us. They also got, also traded for some guys through the system and stuff like us. And they're basically like a complete team from 1 through 9.
I agree on that. The White Sox have a lot of similarities with us. I'll say the biggest difference between the White Sox and us is probably the hitting, because we're still a top 3 offense in baseball regardless.
Mm-hmm.
But that could change with Michael Brantley still lingering his injury. There's still a chance he might not be ready for the ALDS if, let's say, we're able to play against them, because remember, the division's still not over. The A's and the Mariners are still in the fight.
Yes, and we need the Mariners to lose tonight to at least cut it to 1, and we need to at least win tomorrow to at least clinch the division.
And I feel like as the games have went on, because like you said, we are currently on a 4-game losing streak. I'm glad you brought that up. The losing streak has started in Anaheim
in the last game
with that 2-3 loss. That was, because they had a 4-game. I mean, they won the series.
Yeah, they won the series, but the last game was very important to us to win, actually. I thought our guy Wolfman Lance, shout out to you, Lance McCullers, that we thought that he was going to at least, pull through that whole game just for us to get a chance. But then as soon as I saw that hanging breaking ball to Jack Mayfield, who they call Super Jack, I was like saying to myself, okay, now I feel like this game is over.
Yep.
I was like, I knew the game was over after that, because I was like, dang. But to be honest with you, looking into that game specifically, the way Lance was pitching through, at least I thought he could have went a little bit deeper, But at the same time, this is the Lance McCullers that I need to show up in the postseason. This is the one.
I agree.
Wolfman,
and he's being counted as the ace, so he needs to perform.
Okay, now my question is this. I kind of asked Marco this too. Do you trust Lance at home, or do you trust him on the road?
Did you say Lance?
Lance, yes. Do you trust him at home, or do you trust him to be on the road?
Oh, I trust them in both situations, because I don't know if you guys remember when they played the LA Dodgers, the horrible environment down there in LA, very hostile. And guess who started that first game of the series, which ended up being a shutout at their home stadium? Lance McCullers. So regardless how Lance has his issues sometimes with command, he's the guy I trust the most in this rotation.
Thank you.
In a way. But it's really hard to say, where to put him.
Or which Lance are we going to see that shows up, basically. Right?
I can't agree anymore. That's probably the most trustable pitcher and reliable pitcher that I really trust personally on this Astros roster. I mean, yeah, people can say, "Oh, what about Zach Greinke? What about him?" Okay, here's the thing about that guy.
Zach Greinke has two faces. Has two faces.
Well, let me get to that. Let me explain. Zach Greinke, he's known as an off-speed pitcher,
a control pitcher,
right? But if people catch on to that off-speed ball, they're gonna be launching that thing.
And look at what the White Sox have been doing against off-speed pitching.
Let me tell you something, H-Town Digital. I am terrified of the White Sox. I'm very terrified. I saw them one time here on my birthday when they played here.
Twice, actually.
Right? And then I saw them. No, I only went to one game.
No, I'm saying you went on the road.
Well, I was about to get in there. Then I went actually to Chicago in July, and I saw them for 3 games there in what's it called now? It used to be called U.S. Cellular, but I don't know. I saw them at their ballpark. Let's just go with that. And let me tell you something.
Off to you.
Well,
the Astros on the road.
You ought to saw what happened. Anyways, with that team, I saw a whole different team in Chicago than whenever I saw here in Houston. And let me tell you something. I have Chicago ties. I was there for a reason. I have family up there. I love them very, near and dear to my heart. One thing that I have seen is you don't want to mess with a Chicago team in the postseason. The White Sox are a
juggernaut of a team
this year. They are crazy, and like Corben said, they're an exact
clone
of us.
And I've watched that team over the past few seasons, even through the bad years. Obviously, their heart and soul is. Sorry to cut you off, Marco. The heart and soul of that team, obviously, is Jose Abreu, who's been there since the bad days. Then all of a sudden, you start seeing a slew of prospects: Tim Anderson, now Luis Robert, and the big baby Eloy Jimenez has came onto the scene. Although they have been injured part of the season, but they are coming on strong. That team is very terrifying.
But another thing is, the most scarier thing I believe is that they're more consistent than the Astros
from an offensive standpoint.
From an offensive standpoint. So that's why I feel so scared because, brother, I was there 3 days: Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The Friday night game, Lance threw a gem. It was rocky in the first inning, but he threw a gem the whole 9 yards, and the offense backed them up.
The funny thing about that, I was at the club actually watching that game.
At the club? Oh, yes. That's an interesting destination.
Yeah. Moving on. The Saturday game that I went to, it was on national television. I don't know if you saw that game or if you saw that game as well.
I was in Fort Worth.
Yes, it was a Saturday night game on Fox. They threw the trash can on the field. I was literally like a section over.
Oh, God.
We got blown out 10-2. That was a whole different. Yes, that was a whole different club that I saw. let alone Odorizzi pitch. Granted, he pitched that day, but they put up 10 runs, and the Astros only put up 2 based off a home run and a base hit, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then we go.
Offense just goes dead all of a sudden.
So and then this is the kicker. The next day, it was a Sunday game. It was a noon game.
I watched that game.
All the MLB games are basically at noon on Sundays during the summer.
Was this Giolito going almost the whole 9 yards, shutting down the team?
No, it wasn't Giolito. It was Rodon.
Rodon
was on the mound, and Fromber was on the mound as well. 4-0 loss.
But one of them was Giolito, remember?
That was a Saturday night game.
That was a Saturday night game.
Basically, what I'm trying to say is that team is scary. I'm not saying that because I saw them live and in person, but look at what they've been doing these past couple of months. That is a serious ball club to be scared of, and I'm really terrified of them.
Especially now with that pitching as well. It makes a good combination with that good offense.
Exactly.
And I know Craig Kimbrell hasn't been the best reliever as he was with the Chicago Cubs, but he's still Craig Kimbrell. He can recover from his bad moments during the regular season in the playoffs.
But at the same time, they also got another closer who we are very familiar with in our division.
Liam Hendricks. That guy.
Yes, that guy there. I swear, this is how I look at this whole scenario. Tony La Russa is gonna ride his starters. I can already feel that coming. He gonna ride Rodon. He gonna ride probably Giolito, and he gonna probably ride Lance Lynn as well.
Right.
But at the same time, it's just that which one? I know we can get to one of them at least. I have confidence in that because I know he does not want to ride with Dallas Keuchel in this series. That's for sure.
No, Dallas Keuchel has been very bad. As much as I love Dallas Keuchel, part of the 2017 championship team, regardless how the haters feel, but Dallas Keuchel has not been good this year.
Yeah. And before we jump into anything, I want to get through the score recap. This is what I usually do. So the last time we recorded, it was on the 9th of September, and the Stros went on a pretty streaky, series of games. Let me go ahead and run you by these numbers right quick. So the last time we recorded, the Angels were in town.
It was on September 9th.
10th. And Friday the 10th, they won 10-5. The next day, lost 2-4. And then Sunday, won it 3-1. Then they went on the road to face the Rangers for 4 games, which I believe they should have swept. But
we took 3 out of 4 games.
3 out of 4 game win. The first day was on that Monday. They won 15-1.
The next day we lost 8-1.
Then the next day they won 7-2.
Then the next day we won 12-1.
Then we took a trip to Arizona.
No, we were at home.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, we were at home for the Diamondback series. It was also Hispanic Heritage Month. Shout out to all my Hispanics out there. I'm a fellow Mexican and Puerto Rican, so shout out to all of y'all. But otherwise, it was Hispanics Heritage that weekend. And they handled up.
And apparently this wasn't actually using a normal starter. Actually, this was actually a whole bullpen game for that first game against Arizona. You started with Brandon Bielak, and surprisingly, after giving up only basically 3 runs in that game, the whole bullpen game held up their end of the bargain.
Yeah, the Stros ended up winning 4-3. Then they lose 4-6 on Saturday. And then they win 7-6 in extra innings.
And besides, the crazy thing on that is that it only took us the regular 9-yard in that final game, actually, mainly because it was a late 7 or 8th inning.
I'm thinking ahead.
Jose Siri, God, I love that guy, hits one solo home run. The next thing you know, Chas McCormick actually gives us hits a 2-run bomb to give us the lead. So
I'll take it any day.
I'll take it.
A win's a win, and around these times, and H-Town Digital, I feel like you can agree, a win's a win in these crucial times when we're so close to the postseason.
Regardless, if you're a rookie.
Is he there? Maybe I have some connecting issues. Well, we'll get back with. Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I was just saying to you guys so you guys could talk.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So we're then they hit the road again to face the Angels in a 4-game
series in which the first game really set the tone, actually, where we laid the smackdown on them 10-0.
Well, I would say the first 3 games we laid the smackdown on them.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first game was 10-0.
And then surprisingly, Maldonado hit home runs back to back in those first 2 games.
And I'll take that.
Yes.
The next day they won 10-5. Then they won 9-5. And then what we were talking about earlier, it all went downhill from there.
But can we go back to that third game though?
Okay.
The crazy thing is that game had actually went 12 innings, in which defense really played a part in that game.
It did.
And I gotta give a shout out to.
Oh yeah, Chas McCormick did a
yes,
great
I gotta
job.
give a big shout out to the Chasmanian Devil himself, Chas McCormick. He actually stepped up very good playing right field for Kyle Tucker. Although Kyle Tucker was playing designated hitter, trying to relax that shoulder, Chas McCormick actually took the risk to throw out Shohei Ohtani. Yeah. Although he missed the plate, he still threw. He
went third base
because the bases were loaded. He caught the ball. I see Shohei already running. I'm like, man, please don't score. What killed me is that he missed the plate. He missed the plate, but thank God Chas McCormick actually threw it in the right spot for Castro to actually tag him out. So, and then the previous play before that, Correa actually made a play, caught the ball, and threw it back to home again. And I was like, okay, this is the type of defense that we need to play in the postseason when these scenarios come into play when you're in trouble.
But my thing is that I know it's a road trip. and I don't know who I saw it from. I think it was you, H-Town, but I think you made a good point. Correct me if I'm wrong. That you said that they went on this losing streak because, it's the West Coast. They didn't have a day off since the 10th.
Yes.
So that you could see a little bit of fatigue within the team.
And
Did
plus,
you made that point, correct?
Yeah, I made a post about it. I think it was yesterday.
Okay. Yeah. I think it was
plus they had got into Oakland, I believe, around like 2 a.m. in the morning, right?
Actually, they got at 3 a.m. in the morning, and they barely got any hours of sleep. They only slept for like.
Okay,
9
we on
hours.
point. We on point. We see an eye to eye on that. I got you.
So then after the loss in Anaheim, they traveled to Oakland, still on the West Coast, but playing in Ricky Henderson Field or whatever the name.
It's Ricky Henderson Field
or the Coliseum as they call it, whatever it is, that dump. Yes, I said it, a dump.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and it's. I'm not even gonna get into it. They get swept by these people in Oakland. They lose 2-14 the first game.
The first game, I don't know what in the world happened. It's like everything was going fine for a moment, and then
2-14.
It's like everything turned from 2-2 to 14-2, like just like
So they
just
have to
like
put
that.
Brendan Bielik starting.
Yeah.
Yes, we did another book because
Greinke
Zach Greinke
did
had
suffer some
neck stiffness.
and I know he's up there in age. That could play a factor in some contract deals.
Yes, it will.
I'm just saying.
By the way,
saying.
speaking of signings and stuff like that, H-Town, let me ask you a question. Far as the Correa situation, we know there's going to be a lot of free agents this upcoming offseason. One which will include Max Scherzer. Let me ask you this scenario: Do you pay Correa or do you sign a big time ace to replace possibly Verlander and Greinke? Do you go sign Max Scherzer?
What I believe about Max Scherzer is that when he got to LA, the Dodgers were already guaranteeing his contract.
So he's off the table.
So basically he's off the table.
Yeah, nice try, Corben.
Yeah, he's off the table. And about the Correa situation, I've been a huge advocate about re-signing Carlos Correa because Carlos Correa is not only one of the best shortstops in the league, but Carlos Correa is the heart and soul of the Astros. Ever since George Springer left,
thank you.
A huge hole was left in the Astros. And imagine what will happen if Carlos Correa leaves. They will literally have
no leadership,
no real alpha leaders. I'm not saying Altuve is not a leader or Alex Bregman is not a leader or Martin Maldonado.
But that voice.
The past 2 seasons. But Carlos Correa is the different breed, man. That guy is an animal.
And he's finally proven it this season,
Yeah, like in a contract year.
Yes, in a contract year.
Shows that he wants to get paid as a top player in the league.
And I feel like he is going to get paid, and I have a theory that whatever team that contacts him with a contract,
that is not the Yankees.
Well, and like I said, any team, I feel like any team that offers him big money, I feel like the Astros will match it, and he'll stay in Houston. That's my theory.
I really hope that you're right, man.
My main thing is that I know he's going to probably... I have a feeling he's going to want big money, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't think... If I was, general manager, I'm not giving him, like... I would love to get... If we had money to spend, really big money to spend like the Padres did, I wouldn't mind giving him maybe like $300 million, whatever. But if I want to give him a very good, lucrative deal, my theory on that, I would give him at least 8 years, $240 million. That's still giving you $30 million a year, but the years matter.
The years do matter. So, while we're on the subject of Oakland, again, they lost 2-14. Then on a walk-off hit, 1-2.
And this is where
loss in the 9th inning. No. Let me talk. And then I lost 3-4. H-Town Digital, let me ask you a quick question, my brother. Do you agree with Ryan Presley being the sole closer of the Houston Astros?
No, I have my doubts about that because we witnessed that yesterday firsthand, that he's unreliable when it comes down to tying situations. He's pretty good when it comes down to save situations, but if you really want to consider yourself as a top reliever in this league, you got to be able to do both.
Okay, because last episode I made a point to Corb that Ryan Presley...
Just give it to me. Give it to me.
Oh,
give it
listen
to
me. This. Oh, well, first let me fill him in.
Cause I was hot too.
No. Listen. All right, H-Town, check this out. Last time we recorded, which was about, 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago?
September 9th.
September 9th, I made a point to Corben, and I said, dude, it's going to get to a point to where Ryan Presley's is letting off too many hits because he was already letting off too many hits as it is. I said, watch, it's one of those hits is going to cost the game. And in those situations like we just talked about. What happened, Corb? Ladies and gentlemen, you know how Corben has the roast zone. Well, this is Mars roast zone, and I'm putting Corben on blast. Corb, I told you. It didn't happen one time. It happened twice. I told you. He is not a closer. He isn't. And as a closer, yes, he is a setup. But as a closer, here's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get your 3 outs, and you go in the locker room happy to win a game.
But what happened?
What happened, Corp? Tell me. What did your closer do?
Oh, that mercy.
2 times. When the Astros could have clinched. Let alone, I will admit.
3 separate occasions. 2, technically.
Well, I will admit, there was some mistakes on both ends. But as a closer.
No, but also I'm going to throw somebody else in the roast zone, too.
No. This is my roast zone.
I know, but I'm going to throw somebody in there, too.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Jose Ziri? Is that why? Because he blew the sign? Okay, he's a rookie.
But still. He's
a rookie, and there's a possibility he might not even make the postseason roster, which is fine.
But he might be on the bench.
I guess the initials are DV.
There you go.
But don't you? The
initials are DB. Are you putting Dusty Baker on blast?
Oh yeah, because Dusty Baker has mismanaged this bullpen and the starting pitchers in so many times.
So there you go. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people, but for right now, I'm getting my most beneficial thing out of the way. Corb, I told you so. I told you. And I love it whenever I'm right. Because you don't like to give me credit on that.
Okay,
htown Digital just backed me up.
Okay,
he's a set-up guy. Love the guy, but he's not a closer.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy, and he's like one of the team favorites. But Dusty Baker really mismanages him too. Like, let's put that into perspective too.
I need at least Kendall Graveman closing out games. I'm sorry. The reason I feel like,
and I'll go with that.
I feel like
closing lately, I'm not really sure about that, man. I think you have to go with what you got at the moment because Kendall Graveman, as good as he was in the beginning with us and with Seattle earlier in the season, ever since, oh my God, I don't know if you guys want to go back to this.
We're gonna talk about all of that.
Well, I say Kendall Graveman is because I feel like the reason why he's underperforming at the moment is because he's in a role.
He's not used to being a setup man.
He's in a role where he hasn't really fully adjusted into yet. And whenever he was on Seattle, he was killing. So I feel like if you put Ryan Presley back in his natural role, and you put Kendall Graveman in his natural role,
the confidence will come back.
Yes, I believe. That's what I solely believe. And hey, if they try it out one game and it goes south, okay, then we know how it is.
No, give it 2 games.
Well, either way.
I'll say we could try this experiment after the Astros end up clinching the division because before that you can't do any experimenting like that, especially now that we have to play the Rays.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not afraid of the Rays.
Thank you. Say that again.
I'm honestly not afraid of the Rays.
And this is where I'm gonna piggyback my brother off of this htown Digital. I'll be honest with you. I've been saying this for a while, like since 2019. I said it. The Rays, if the offense does not match the pitching with the Rays, they don't go nowhere. Obviously, I get it. They got Ron DeFranco. They finally brought him up. They got rid of Willie Adames, who I told Marco was going to be the bait for all of that. Then you went to go get Nelson Cruz. Obviously, you trade away Blake Snell. You let Uncle Charlie walk. Then Tyler Glasnow got hurt, which you thought was going to carry you into the postseason. But I just don't see the Rays are that good, or really are that. They're good, but they're not that good.
I feel like the reason why they're in first place
is that system.
Well, no, I feel like the Red Sox underperformed this year.
Yes, and I kept telling you underperformed this year.
And then Toronto was just swarmed with freaking injuries. And who else is in that division?
The Orioles just suck. They just suck.
That's self-explanatory.
That's just the funeral itself in that team.
But now that everybody's back to 100%, look what's happening in the race.
And look at it's all the AL East teams trying to fight for that spot.
Last second. So
including the Seattle Mariners.
So let me. This leads me into my next question, gentlemen. And Digital, I want to start with you.
Okay.
Where do you see the Astros ending up in the postseason? Do you see them as the first seed going up against the wild card? Do you see them going up against the White Sox? And do you see any success in the postseason as well?
Oh, please, I want to hear this. Right now,
if they are standing, I would say easily they're stuck in the number 2 seed.
Okay.
And the only thing that the Astros have to worry about right now is 2 things. One, obviously, clinching the division title. And number 2, clinching home field advantage over the White Sox, because as you previously mentioned earlier in this episode, the White Sox play differently at home. They are a completely different animal.
Any Chicago team up there is not terrible. They're different at home. They are. Just trust me. They are.
Anywhere else, they it's on and off.
So my second question, like I said, do you see any postseason success for the Astros?
I really do, but it all depends, again, on multiple factors. It depends if the offense is on its groove and can just destroy teams every single night, hitting the baseball all over the ballparks, and the pitching rotation does its job and at least goes more than 5 innings. I know it's going to happen here and then, but the Astros need to be at the top of the game so they can have as much success as possible. And with that also includes not... For the love of God, please not do any dumb decisions, Dusty Baker.
So let me ask you this question: do you see us winning a World Series? Your honest opinion. It doesn't matter if you say yes or no. It's your personal, preference. Do you see the Astros capturing a World Series title this year?
And we'll respect your opinion.
Yes, we will 100% respect your opinion.
That's a very complex question, and I did not want to ask that question, but I'll go for it. Okay, so I love this team. I love the Astros. They're my favorite Houston sports team. But as of right now, like I mentioned, I do not see this team making it past the ALCS if they don't get their crap together, because there's many teams that have been not looking so good as of late, and there's so many other competent teams in the NL, including my least favorite team, probably in all of baseball, the Dodgers. I feel like the Dodgers can go to San Francisco and beat them in a 7-game series. The Giants could also do the same.
H-Town Digital, mind if I comment off of that for you a little bit?
Yeah, go for it.
I had made this drop the mic moment early this morning, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. And the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. We're leading into the St. Louis Cardinals here, who are actually on a 16-game winning streak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to mention about that.
And guess what? The Dodgers, guess what? It's the division title for the Giants to lose, actually, at this point.
Yeah.
You can't allow the Dodgers, because that's who y'all basically facing down the line, and y'all got to win those games, first of all. Or otherwise, y'all going to try to be the ones digging yourself out the hole. So, which is what I'm saying here. I had already said it. And I'm going to say this with my whole heart because I know how I feel about this. I don't give a damn how many games you've won. I don't give a damn if you have... I know they're going to plan on, starting Max Scherzer. But guess what? The hottest team in the second half turns out to be the most dangerous team. Look at what the Washington Nationals did in 2019. They came out of nowhere. They beat the Dodgers on their home field, actually. I was so happy about that. But although the heartbreaker of all of it, they beat us on our home field. So,
in Game 7.
Let's not act like a wild card team can come out of nowhere and beat up on everybody.
Because of one of the futures of baseball.
Oh, God.
Juan Soto.
Yo, it's the first time you said that name in, God, 2 years now. But I'll be honest with you. Just looking at the NL period, and I'm saying this for baseball overall. Looking at the Cardinals, they literally have the best defense.
Yeah.
Come on. They do, yeah. They lead in all defense statistics in all baseball, which is insane because the Cardinals were looking rough earlier in the season, but now they're the hottest team in baseball, like you said. 16-game winning streak. Holy smokes.
And personally, I swear, I'm going to be watching that wild card game because
I am too.
I just want to see the look on Mars' face. So when the Dodgers lose, I'm gonna be like, dude, I told you.
Okay.
Cause there's not gonna be 10 runs scored in that game.
Time out.
I know there isn't.
Time out. I agree with the Corb. I agree with the H-Town Digital. But let me lay down some facts, okay?
Oh god.
Yeah.
As a secondary Cubs fan,
Oh Jesus.
Okay, here's something I don't understand about the love between the Astros and the Cubs. Why are there so many Cubs fans in Houston? I wonder.
well, Ian, let me tell you something, brother. Chicago isn't one of the cheapest places to live. And the Cubs are a really enjoyable team to watch whenever,
And they're
they
an
have
underdog city like
whatchamacallit.
us.
So, it's like I said, they're a cleaner version of Yankees fans. That's what I could basically say.
Okay, that's a good,
Cleaner
I'll give you
version.
that.
They're
I'll
more
give you that.
friendlier. They're more, home style loving. Or just friendlier. But let me get back to my point. As a Chicago fan, secondary fan, I am hating this. I am. I don't like St. Louis. I'm a hockey fan as well. My Chicago Blackhawks.
And you're thinking about 2005 too.
Oh, nice.
I am hating this. We as Blackhawks fans,
Oh god.
we hate St. Louis. We hate Detroit. We hate St. Louis. We hate everybody that is literally up there.
You just turned this into a whole hockey
It's
scenario.
bad. It's bad. Well, I'm gonna dive into it. Whenever the Bears and the Rams, whenever the Rams were in St. Louis and they would face the Bears, that was bad blood. That
Yeah.
was terrible.
True.
Same thing for the Cubs and the Cardinals. It is bad blood.
A fight is always
It's
willing
terrible.
to go down.
No, it's awful. It's terrible.
Oh,
It's
I have
all.
a Cubs fan who hates the Cardinals like any other team.
There you
Because
go.
They're in the same division, right?
Same division,
It's
yeah.
the same division, and
Central.
it's. I don't know. I think it's because all the states are so close up there,
In the north.
and we're down here in Texas, so I mean it's
Different.
nothing to us. It's a whole different vibe. But
Yeah.
But when we were in the NL, we were the ones traveling.
I could care less.
I know.
about the
I'm just
Cubs
saying. I'm just
whenever we're in
saying.
the
Yeah,
NL.
we were the ones that were traveling
But
up there.
basically,
but go
what I'm
with
saying
your
is,
point.
from what I'm seeing here, from a Cubs fan perspective, yes, I'm gonna put that in there. I'm hating it because they're taking over. They're taking over the division. Although the Brewers did clinch the NL Central, I hate it because Wisconsin and Illinois, they hate each other.
They're right across from each other.
Exactly. But from a baseball perspective, yes, I want them to wipe out.
Okay, now let's dive into football for a little bit. Yes, remember the Packers and the Bears, oldest rivalry in American sports.
Yes, it ties down to
Yes.
that. They hate each other, and what I'm saying,
Ever
that's
since
what
the
I'm
early
relating it to.
1900s,
Those rivalries. I mean, northern sports teams up there.
it's real.
It's oh my gosh, it's a
It's
whole different thing, dude. And like I said, when I went into that ballpark in Chicago as an opposing team fan, I know it's the Astros. There's some controversy behind us, but I understand. Fans are fans. Them mofos are crazy. They're crazy. They were throwing drinks at me, dude. They're throwing drinks and they're throwing food at me, flipping me off.
It
telling me all
almost
this other stuff.
hit him, but he
So I
felt.
guess it was not the Dodgers and the Yankees fans doing that. That's actually shocking.
Oh, we would be fighting.
I
Oh,
did
we
not
would be
know
Oh
fighting.
no, dude! The South Side, they're terrible. That's bad. Like they're like third level, like like third level, like disrespectful to like other people's fans, and it's not just the Stros
It's
fans.
it's
it's everybody.
Yeah, it's everybody.
It's terrible.
They're hard. They basically get hard.
That South
over
Side
there.
is terrible.
Yeah.
But like people were telling. I mean, there were some cool people that I met that were Sox fans.
But there were some savages up there.
They told me that, dude, if you go up to Wrigley and you were wearing this, they'll just talk crap to you. They won't even flip you off or do any of that stuff. And I said, oh, I'm pretty sure because I've been to multiple Cubs games up there and I know how the vibe is. Moral of the story is, yes, the Cardinals are on fire. Half of me is saying yes because I know you're gonna wipe out the Dodgers, which I agree with you on, Corb. Another half of me is saying
No,
yes
because of that rivalry.
but I think the overall half for the better. Yes, I'm with it.
Because I slightly believe there's not going to be 10 runs scored in that game. Because I know you got really, like, gold glove candidates at almost every position.
Right. But like I said, this is a Houston sports podcast, and I want to keep it that way.
Okay.
So
but back to the Astros.
Back to the Stros. H-Town Digital. Where do you see us finishing off? 1 or 2?
It's probably gonna be. Oh, okay. Go first. Go first, H-Town Digital.
2 right now in the. You talking about like clinching the playoff spot?
Yeah.
Yes,
From
the seed.
Oh yeah, easily. There's no question. The Astros are not gonna get nowhere close to the Rays because the Rays are pretty much locked in the number 1 seed.
Ooh, I wouldn't say that, but all right. Go ahead, Corb. Where do you see us finishing at?
Oh man. By looking at the Tampa Bay's remaining schedule, obviously they got 3 games against us, obviously. And then the next thing you know, they got 3 games against the Yankees in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, and the Yankees are fighting for that wild card. They want to secure it. The Red Sox, but nothing is totally out of the play for the Blue Jays or the Red Sox.
Thank you. That's exactly where I was going. That's where I was going.
Side note. When I was watching Sunday Night Football back and Sunday Night Baseball, when I was flipping back and forth, I watched the 9th inning of the whatchamacallit. I saw one of my favorite pitchers pitch, Aroldis Chapman. But you know what I noticed? There were 3 former Cubs. Teammates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
On the same playing at the same time. Rizzo was at first. Chapman was pitching, and Kyle Schwarber was batting.
Mm-hmm.
I told my girlfriend, I said, "Yo, this is crazy," and she was like,
"And Anthony Rizzo was on the dugout, or was he not in the game?"
No, he was in the game.
Oh, okay.
he was in the game.
Rizzo, yeah.
All right, but anyways, continue what you were saying.
And then looking at our schedule, H-Town Digital, I know we got 3 games against the Rays, and then we got 3 against the A's. So the Rays are basically, they're kind of playing with their house money now, basically. So you either get swept by us and then possibly get swept by if you get swept by the Yankees, well, basically we take over the whole scenario. We control the cards, obviously. But at the same time, I feel like we're going to finish at second because I'll be honest with you. I'm comfortable at being trust me, I want to be number 1 badly. I do. I've been wishing we had that 1 seed until we lost it in Texas Rangers and had it for like 24 hours, but I see us finish second actually because I swear I've been telling Marco this too. I said, bro, the Blue Jays are knocking at the door. And it's like they still can, somehow sneak into this thing. Cause ever since the Yankees went on that hot streak, I was like, okay. I said they went on a 13-game winning streak, but guess what? We got a whole month of baseball. You might just get eliminated out the playoffs because most of this whole part of the month was against their own division. Yeah, the Red Sox disappointed me. Really, they disgusted me, actually, when they got swept. And I'm like, you're supposed to at least win 2 of those games at least. But now you got to rely on the Blue Jays to, do your dirty work in order to possibly sweep at least take 2 games from the Yankees just so the Toronto Blue Jays can sneak into that wild card spot and Boston can hold on for dear life. But looking at the whole playoff scenario, H-Town Digital, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. The White Sox are going to give us a run for our money.
Yeah,
I can't avoid that.
People that are overly hyped about the Astros, they don't really watch
baseball
games as deep as I do.
Yeah.
And are discrediting the White Sox and are only paying attention to the standings and saying, "Oh, the Rays are just going to be the hardest team." No, literally every single team that's in the postseason, it's gonna make you sweat. And
they're gonna make you work.
Really.
They're gonna make you work. And I'll be honest with you, one specific example, although we are talking on the Houston Sports Podcast, one game specifically I was watching of the White Sox was obviously against Cleveland, although Cleveland wasn't going anywhere. But I watched an example of what they're capable of. Obviously, I've seen our games against them, but I watched them against their own division. Basically, the one thing I can say, and I hope the Houston Astros are actually hearing this, I hope you guys do listen to this. One thing's for sure, do not, and I mean do not, throw any pitch above the square against Luis Robert or Eloy Jimenez because that's their sweet spot.
That's going to be scary.
And I don't know.
And don't even, And the other thing is, don't even throw a pitch to the left side corner of that box against Tim Anderson, because that's his sweet spot.
Yeah, that's true.
That's his sweet spot. And when I saw them smashing the ball, I was
Anderson
like,
is a dog. Tim Anderson is a dog.
Thank you.
He really is.
One of the most underrated shortstops, I think, in my opinion.
Development.
Yeah, but I was just watching that game, and I was thinking to myself, man, they can't make no mistake. Y'all gotta go like darn near perfect with your pitches to keep it out the spot that if you throw it low to them, they might swing basically or pop up. Either way,
But
get it out.
I don't know if I've made this point to you, Corb.
Okay.
I might have said it last episode. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But
Whatever
I remember
episode we
telling
probably
you
did.
this, and H-Town Digital, I want you to listen really close to see if you agree.
Yeah.
This postseason is very different from prior postseasons. To whenever
It really is.
to whenever the Stros were starting to make their run, and we could go with 2015 because 2016 they were bombarded with injuries. 2017 we were unstoppable. They were unstoppable. Regardless if they use the system that everybody else uses apparently.
And apparently we beat the Dodgers on the road, and who was really cheating the last few years?
Yeah, exactly. 2018, I felt like we could have done it, but
we could have.
The Red Sox were on one.
And guess who was the lead front man on that? Alex Cora.
2019, look what we did. Last year, look what that showed.
We weren't even supposed to be in the postseason.
Yeah, we weren't even supposed to be there.
But thank God to the expanded wild card system. You just gave us a whole nother leeway of.
But this postseason is different. Every team is competitive, especially in the American League, I feel like. Think about it. The White Sox, they're scary like we just saw. The Rays are doing stuff that
we didn't even like. Well, we expected
that we all didn't know.
But they're trying to prove it wasn't a fluke.
That they were capable of. And then the wild card, let alone they're scrapping for a spot. You got 3 teams. I'm gonna say 3 because I don't feel. Who's 4?
Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle.
I'm just saying, dude. That's it.
4 teams that are scrapping for a spot. I'm telling you, wherever the Astros lie in their
seeding.
Yeah, their seeding in the postseason, it's gonna be a dogfight. I feel like the first round in the ALDS
gonna go 5 games.
Yes, it's gonna go 5 games. And I don't know if I'm the only person that sees that, but I feel like wherever we lie on the seeding, I would much rather get the number 1 and dodge and pray to God that the Yankees
die.
Yes, in the wild card and don't make it, because I know they will. I'm not lying.
It's gonna be a fight.
They're gonna beat us.
Yeah,
they will.
They're coming. Us. Yeah, but
we didn't beat them in the season series. We beat them twice. They beat us 4 times. They won the series already right there. It only takes them 3 games.
Yeah, but look.
But anyway,
even when they beat us in the postseason, look what happened in the postseason. Look what happened in the postseason. Every time they beat us. No, I'm not done, because the more you keep saying that, okay, I get it.
I'm talking now.
No.
I feel like I'm thinking that if we dodge, if the Yankees somehow die or do not do anything, and we can face whoever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to face the White Sox in the first round because I know we're gonna lose. We're gonna lose in first round against the White Sox or the Yankees. I'm telling you, it's the truth.
I know you've been telling me
we're facing the Yankees in the first round because the Yankees are trying to make the wild card and the Rays already locked in.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, they're not locked in.
They're not locked in fully.
They're not locked in fully.
They only clinched their division and postseason spot.
Remember, there's a 1 week left in the season, which is this week. So anything can happen. Literally, anything can happen. I mean, the Astros are only behind 3 games?
6. We're behind
first place?
6. Yeah, 6 games actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was
because
I'm saying if we win out.
Oh yeah. But then
because we're like 6 games behind. We're 91-65. The Rays are 97-59. We got to at least take all 3 games from them, and then we have to expect the Yankees to at least do their. We don't want them to do it.
This is such a headache,
you see how much of a headache that is?
Such a headache.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want the Yankees in the playoffs. I don't
want them either.
I want everybody to have fair ground with each other and not have to go through the Yankees to get to where we want to, where everybody wants to go. I'm not interested in dreams. I'm interested in nightmares. I want us to kill somebody else's dream to make it a nightmare for them in order for us to get to where we want to go.
That team isn't this team right now is not capable of that because of how inconsistent they are.
When the bats go dead, and then when the pitching starts giving up runs, and then of course if Ryan Presley can't have the stomach enough to at least hold a lead.
Oh, now who's on that train now?
Yes, I was hot, man.
Okay, Ryan Presley's a good saver reliever, but when it comes down to tying situations, he's actually not good. But that also should rely on Dusty Baker because Dusty Baker should know this and not use him in situations like that.
The Dustmeister, yes, as I call him. Good manager, but come on, man. You gotta manage that pitching the right way. Balance it out. Make it the right way in which if you put Kendall Graveman back in his closing role, maybe the confidence will actually come back.
So to cap this Astros talk off, or before we cap it off, I'm gonna tell you the remaining schedule.
3 games against the Rays.
And 3 games against Oakland, which will all be here at one of the greatest stadiums in history.
Hallelujah.
Minute Maid Park.
Yes.
They finish the season here, and they will start the postseason here as well if all goes to plan.
I don't think the White Sox are going to catch us for that second seed. I really don't.
I don't know. Probably the next time we record, we're going to come at you with a postseason preview and then go from there.
And I know who we can call to bring on for that.
Okay.
We'll talk after the show. We'll talk after the show.
Yeah, leave it. But htown Digital, let me ask you this question. What is your who is in your rotation in the first round?
Better yet, your whole pitching staff.
Oh, that's very easy. As we talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, would make the first game.
No, your whole pitching.
I didn't catch.
Yeah, your whole
Whole pitching staff.
Question, shut up. My whole question is, who is on your pitching roster? I'm gonna start off with your starters and then go into your bullpen.
Ooh, that's a long question. So I'm gonna break it down into 2.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna get started with the pitching rotation.
Okay.
Starting rotation. Number 1, I'll say Lance McCullers. I feel like at this point, since you don't have Justin Verlander, since he's been out with Tommy John the whole season, you have no option then to go to Lance McCullers.
All right.
Number 2, I'll say Framber Valdez because Framber leads all the major leagues in ground balls, and he has had some elite moments during the season, even after turning late from that injury. I don't know if you guys remember.
Yeah, the ring finger injury.
Yeah. And then number 3, I'll have to go with Luis Garcia.
Yes.
Remember, he's been having a stellar season as a rookie, and he's still in play for Rookie of the Year with what's the guy's name from the Texas Rangers? I keep forgetting his name.
Adolis Garcia
versus us in Global Life Field, the Cuban guy who's actually not a rookie. He's almost like 30 years old.
Randy Arozarena.
No. Randy Arozarena plays for the Rays.
Adolis Garcia.
Yeah, Adolis Garcia. Yes, that guy. They call him El Bombi or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Man looks 40.
And the last spot that I will say for the starting rotation in this first series versus the possible Chicago White Sox, I'll go with. Many people are going to disagree and feel like, what they can say whatever they say about, my opinion. But I'll go with Jose Urquidy because obviously you got to go with the hot hand right now.
I agree.
He's not reliable right now. He's been getting hurt back and forth, and when he comes back, he does a very concerning performance.
Okay. So who's in your bullpen?
In the bullpen, I don't know if you guys will like this, but I'll go with Jacob DeRisi.
Oh my God!
So
keep going.
Yeah, keep going.
Okay, so Jacob DeRisi, because obviously you can put him in the rotation for the playoffs. It's only 4 starters, and then in the bullpen, I'll go with also Kendall Graveman, your biggest acquisition in the trade deadline. You gotta have him. No, there's no excuse not to have him. Ryan Presley, he's your closer, obviously. Your other bullpen options, you got to go with Christian Javier. Christian Javier, he has his good and bad moments, but considering he has been a starter, he can piggyback one of our starters, if let's say Urquidy, because he's most likely to probably struggle in the playoffs because he's been hurt,
Amen.
and he has had like some struggles during the season. But I still trust him over Zach Greinke. But okay, I put Javier, piggyback, whoever's struggling, and then the other guy that I will say is probably Brooks Raley. It's going to be an unpopular opinion. I will, go back to this earlier in the season and say hell to the no. But Brooks Raley, as of late, before he gave away that grand slam to the hitter from the A's,
Chad Pender.
Who was it?
Chad Pender.
Who hit it?
It was Chad Pender.
Oh, Chapman. Then
No, I'm saying Chad Pender. Chad Pender.
Pinder.
Yeah. You just gotta know how to use them correctly, because you can't use Rayleigh in tight situations when the game is on the line. You gotta use him when we have like at least a 2-score lead, and if he starts allowing hits or walks, then you gotta pull him out. Dusty Baker needs to stop being so overly obsessed with him. It's even getting a little bit worrisome, if you're asking me. The other guys that I will say in the bullpen, here comes the hardest names to pick, because let's be real, this bullpen is not really that competitive from the guys that I mentioned earlier. So let me go with Blake Taylor.
Okay.
That's the guy that I trust the most out of the guys that I was going to mention now. And I'll probably go by, he's going to be very unpopular too, but I trust Josh James, who's not a fan favorite, or Phil Maton. But I don't think it's going to happen, because after acquiring him this season, I feel like James Click is going to make Dusty Baker put in this guy who guys, I don't like Phil Maton. I don't think he's ready for this postseason. I feel like he's too young. He needs at least a full season to practice with the Astros pitching staff so he can get his stuff together, because he has some good different types of pitches, but he's not reliable in different situations. When usually we have a lead or a tie, he just gives it away.
Or you would let him. So basically, you would let him develop.
Yeah.
You would let him develop into. Yeah, you would let him develop under that Astros umbrella. So,
correct.
Let me ask you this question: are you really trusting Jake Odorizzi to come relieve for a
inning?
Yes,
or half an inning at least,
and in a crucial moment.
I want to hear this.
You're saying like having guys on base, like in bases loaded.
Okay, let's say for example,
one base runner on.
There's a one base runner. The Astros are up 1-0 in a game 3 on the verge of sweeping. Let's just say, for instance, okay, or let's say that, or I'll even it up. Game 5,
okay,
we're leading by 2
runs. Yeah,
base runner on second. And you have a hitter up to plate. You have the tying run at the plate. Are you putting in Jake Odorizzi to relieve?
I'll have to go with Jake Odorizzi. I feel like he's going to be the best option when it comes down to piggyback somebody and have a couple of innings. But it has to be at home. I don't trust Jake Odorizzi on the road coming out of the bullpen. I trust Christian Javier more coming out of the bullpen at a away game.
Well, yeah, they would have to be at home because they have the number 2 seed. Yeah. So they're going to have home field advantage
regardless.
Yeah. So,
but I was talking about like in a away game scenario.
Oh yeah,
okay.
But okay, so we covered this earlier. Me and Corben did about 2 episodes ago, probably.
Yeah, 16. Yeah, episode 16.
Odorizzi isn't making our bullpen. I'm sorry, he isn't.
We said he ain't making the.
No. But is it gonna happen? Probably.
Yeah. Depending on what
I feel like
team.
it's going to happen because James Blake, I feel like he's a little bit stubborn, and he's going to put all his money into the guys he brought in this season. He might even try to put Pedro Baez and Rafael Montero, who's been hurt. I would not be surprised if one of those 2 guys make it.
So are you not going to put in Yimi
Garcia?
Yeah, I was about to go into that. I will also put Jimmy Garcia, but I think I mentioned too many names. I don't know how many names are...
I believe it's 9 relievers. 9 relievers.
Okay. So with 9 relievers, I mentioned Jake Odorizzi, I mentioned Javier, I mentioned Presley, that's 3, Grayman 4. I also mentioned Phil Maton. Unfortunately, I don't want him there, but I feel like he's going to be there. 5, 6... I'll go with Jimmy Garcia.
Okay.
And then 7, I'll go with, let's see.
Blake Taylor?
Blake Taylor.
Yes, Blake Taylor. You gotta have Taylor because you can't rely on Rayleigh as your only lefty coming out of the bullpen. Then Rayleigh, 8. And then 9, probably that's the last spot. I'll take that back from what I said about Josh James because Josh James has been hurt for most of the season. So, no. Yeah, that's a tricky one because we got Rafael Montero, who's thankfully not out of the season, but I think he was playing in the 60-day IL, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
so
I believe he was.
Most likely not happening.
They said he was out for the rest of the season, but we'll see with further information.
Yeah, precautions.
The last spot.
Yeah, the last spot.
The last spot.
Okay. So
there's one person he forgot to say.
Who?
Ron Stanek.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. How did I forget about the guy with the best hair in the team?
That is true.
Okay.
He does have nice hair. But yes, okay. So your rotation. I mean your relievers. No order. Graveman, Odorizzi. That's 2, right? Keep count. That's
Ryan Stanek.
3.
Macon.
Macon. Presley.
Garcia.
6.
Blake Taylor.
7. Odorizzi. 8.
You know, if I were Dusty, I would put Taylor over Rayleigh, but knowing Dusty's romantic obsession with Rayleigh, he's going to put Rayleigh over Taylor, and that's my concern.
Isn't that so weird?
Yeah, that's weird, right?
It is weird. It's so strange. He forced Rayleigh to overpitch. I'm not saying giving him an excuse. No, Rayleigh's still below average reliever, but Dusty Baker uses him way too much. That makes him look like a double-A reliever.
And Blake Taylor is basically a little bit more polished off, established young bull coming out the bullpen.
Yeah. So I will put Taylor over Rayleigh any day.
Preach.
Yes.
Because, I mean, who did you rely on in that big Dodger game on the road to get that big out for Lance? It was Blake Taylor.
Yep, Blake Taylor. And I feel like Blake Taylor has really
proven himself this season.
He really has improved, and he's made a name for himself in the bullpen as well.
And people forget this is his second season.
Well, because now every time he comes in, I feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And
me too.
And to be honest with you, when Ryan Presley comes in to close games, again, Corb, I'm telling you, I have never felt comfortable. I'm always uncomfortable whenever Ryan Presley comes in the game because I know what's at stake. And I called it. Corb. I called it. I told you.
I bet you'll be happy if we signed Aroldis Chapman in the offseason.
I would be happy. You know why?
Because he's a real closer.
He's a real closer, and he's
throw gas.
He's on the team that owns him.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. It's like whenever Braun went to the West. It's one of them situations.
Yeah. Basically switch conferences.
I mean, that's how I feel.
I mean, not switch conferences. Switch.
Right.
Yeah.
You get the idea. htown Digital, anything else you want to say about the Astros before we move on?
No, that's pretty much what I want to talk about. Who makes the roster for the playoffs, the relievers and the pitchers. Mm-hmm. So I was going to finish with the bench. How many guys are you allowed to have on your bench?
I want to say it's
2 to 3. 4?
No, I think it's either 4 or 5.
Yeah, 4 or 5 because I remember.
Let's go with 4. Yeah. Let's take a shot in dark and said 4. You have to think Aledmus Diaz is going to be on there as well.
Oh yeah, obviously he's the top utility guy in the Astros.
Yeah, yeah. Who are your other 3?
The other 3, that's a tough one because ever since we acquired Marvin Gonzalez, it makes you think.
Okay.
So you gotta decide between Marvin Gonzalez, Jake Myers.
Jake Myers is gonna start.
And Chas McCormick. Those 4.
Jake Myers is gonna start.
Obviously.
Yeah, I mean Myers is probably gonna find himself a good starting role
and probably play that David Freese type of role.
Well, it might be Marwin because Marwin's more reliable and he knows how to play
experienced. Yeah, experience. Yeah,
I really do.
Something Dusty Baker will rely on.
Yes, and I was about to. You literally took the words out of my mouth. I feel like he would take Marwin because Marwin has that postseason experience. The man has a ring,
of course,
with the team that he's currently on.
Yeah. And although it looks like he's deteriorated,
I guess.
And although people think he's deteriorated, whatever, I don't think he's deteriorated. I think he's still got he already
matched his home run total when he had with what he had with the Sox.
I mean, he
had 3 home runs with the Red Sox. Yeah. He was been here for what, 2 weeks already?
And he hit like three home,
Yeah,
three
almost
home,
3 weeks.
And he hit 3 home. He matched his record.
including the Grand Slam in L.A.
Oh, the Angels.
You know what I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Corb, anything else you want to say before we move on? Quick, come on.
It's coming down to the nitty gritty, and at the same time, we had to get our stuff together in order for us to go forward. And regardless, Dusty Baker, please, for God's sake, balance the pitching. That's all I'm asking.
Balance the pitching.
Balance the pitching.
Okay.
And the bats, wake up. That's it. Wake up.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, 6 games left in the regular season. 3 against Tampa Bay, 3 against Oakland.
And I will be working all 6 of those games. You can see me at section 255 at the Authentic
Yes,
Store.
H-Town Digital. Corben works at Minute Maid Park for the Team Authentic Store. So if you find yourself over there at the ballpark,
I got you.
go visit Corben. Go
I was
visit.
actually thinking about going to one of the games against the Rays, so I might see you there.
I'll hit you up.
Yeah.
So what days are you gonna be working?
All 6.
That man is there every day.
No days off.
That man is there every home game.
No days off.
Wow. So seems like a full-time job.
Literally.
Yeah, you say that.
So
yeah.
like I said, ladies and gentlemen, 6 games left for the regular season.
Let's go for the
we
division.
will probably be recording again.
Before the postseason.
Yes, probably a postseason special.
Yeah, preview.
Yeah,
Yeah, there we
probably.
go.
So that's in the near future.
Yeah, sounds good to me. I'll join you guys again for that postseason talk.
Okay, we can do that. I'm down with that. You hear that music? You hear that music, Cord?
Yes, I do hear that music.
I love that music because it is football season,
Football is back in the works.
and we are officially 3 weeks in. Currently, Monday Night Football is being played.
Girls and Eagles.
Yeah, America's team. Yeah, don't say that. Don't say that around Corb.
Yeah, I ain't got no words. I'm just gonna be silent on that.
I don't understand why I still have this guy on the pod, even though he is a America's team fan.
It's just one sport.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't
Hey,
get it.
at least I still pay attention to the Texans. It's not like I haven't,
Keep them around.
I guess. So, this is the first time on the podcast that football season is here. And this is the first time I'm covering football. So, we can dive into it right quick about the beloved team in Houston.
The biggest church in Houston, Texas.
Bigger than Joel Osteen's church.
Oh,
Wow. Ooh.
Okay.
You hit the. All right.
Look at thing. So our beloved Houston Texans started off this season's opening. I can't get over this music, man. I feel like I'm on ESPN. Anyways, the Texans ended up starting off on CBS at a noon game against Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. And to everybody's surprise,
They won the game.
the Texans won, which was expected. Yes, it was expected, but it was something that was not surprising, but everybody saw how the Jaguars were going to look this season. They got a pinch. They thought, Trevor Lawrence is going to come in here and run the place. Well,
All rookies come out struggling.
let me tell you how it went. A week 1 victory in Houston. Surprisingly, in Houston.
37-21.
They allowed the Jaguars to come in and score 21 points. Trevor Lawrence did Trevor Lawrence things, but the Texans prevailed. Pastor E's team prevailed.
Hallelujah.
And on that week 1 matchup win, what did you think, H-Town?
Here's someone to be completely honest about this. So I thought the Texans had no chance against the Jaguars, like against nobody in this season, because after the Deshaun Watson situation and certain signings and not re-signings, that kind of had me thinking what is this team doing? But, I thought once I played with the Jaguars, they were playing with a lot of energy. They were playing with a lot of meaning because remember, many of the signings they had this offseason were one-year signings. And regardless how we feel about this team, all the negativity and stuff, they were trying to prove something. Starting with the quarterback Tyrod Taylor, who has been having a bad history in the NFL with injuries and
Thank you.
Setbacks.
Thank you.
And Tyrod Taylor looked like a Deshaun Watson 2.0. He looked amazing.
Yeah, he did. He did have it. He did. He looked like he was on something, and he looked pretty damn good. I'm not gonna lie.
But I'll give some respect. I'll give some respect. H-Town Digital. Everybody kind of overlooks Tyrod Taylor actually, because let's not forget this man was once a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback actually.
He did make the Pro Bowl
with the Bills.
Yep.
With the Bills, this man is a Super Bowl champion, but was the backup to Joe Flacco in 2012 with the Ravens, which people don't know. But but this is the thing about it. I know he's a good quarterback in my eyes, that meets more than meets the eye, obviously. But
keep in mind, this is a Cowboys fan talking.
at the same time though, I knew the injury was coming. The injury bug was coming. Eventually.
And that came at week 2 in Cleveland, which the Texans honestly had a shot at beating Cleveland. But as soon as Tyrod went down, Pastor E's quarterback, came in, and nothing happened. Yeah, Davis Mills comes in, and he
stunk up the gym.
Well, he threw a touchdown. Week 2 matchup was in Cleveland. The Texans went down 31-21 against the Browns. H-Town Digital, what did you get out of that second game against Cleveland? Did you believe that we had a shot at the Texans had a shot at beating the Browns in Cleveland?
So I want to be honest about the game, since I was at work. The only things that I was available to see were the highlights and a few moments of the game. But so far, what I was talking to other people, they told me that the Texans actually looked pretty good, and they were outperforming Baker Mayfield at their home stadium because Tyrod Taylor looked like a completely different dude from what people were expecting. And when I already knew Tyrod Taylor was going to be decent enough to not turn the ball over and make a lot of mistakes. But you saw the difference was he was injured and Davis Mills came in. Once Davis Mills came in, Texas literally had no shot because I realized that since they have a very bad running game, they realized on Tyrod Taylor's arm to be throwing the ball, and that was their offense. And now moving up to the next week, the Panthers game was very, very concerning when it came down to the offense, right? Because they couldn't run the ball.
Yeah, and you beat me to the point. They had a week 3 matchup on prime time Thursday Night Football. It was on national television on the NFL Network here locally on ABC,
which was a national embarrassing situation. 24-9.
24-9, week 3 at here. The place was not a sellout.
It was something I was gonna mention.
And so was it week 1. It wasn't a sellout. These home games they're not selling out how they used to be. Because I don't know if you remember Corben. I don't know if you remember H-Town Digital. The games were so packed. It was so hard to get a ticket to a Texans game around these times.
Even on bad seasons.
Yeah.
By the way, H-Town Digital, I used to actually work retail with the Texans for one season actually, and I know what Mar's talking. I know exactly what Mar's talking about. It used to be packed, like literally packed. Every
packed
game.
to the Raptors. You would think you would.
It don't even matter.
You compare that crowd to a WrestleMania crowd almost.
Yeah.
Out crowd.
It don't even matter if it was the worst team in the league. The team still sold out in the stadium.
But here now
that we're
I don't know if you paid close attention to this. I went to a preseason game for the Texans, for the sake of the pod, and to see the GOAT, Tom Brady. And I'll tell you this, I didn't get my ticket off of the Texans website. I got it from a verified reseller that is outside the Texans, so my money did not go to the Texans because,
the situation.
Yeah.
Correct. I saw Tom Brady for $45 in a lower bowl because I don't do nosebleeds. I was probably about 5 to 10 rows down from the field, and they ran an ad they're in a TV timeout because the networks got to get their money somehow, and they said season tickets are now available. Season tickets are now available. I went a couple years ago, back in 2019, I believe, maybe 2018, and every time they would mention something about season tickets, you would have to get on a wait list in order to.
You had to get on a wait list.
Yeah, you had to get on a wait list just to talk to somebody about season tickets and to get something for season tickets. They even have like I said, they even have a conversation. Now, after everything that has happened in just one off season, they are pushing season tickets sales.
They're still going, and the season has started.
Yeah, and they're saying it's available. That is awful.
That's a horrible sign. It's a horrible, horrible sign and a message to the whole NFL of how bad the Texans organization is.
And I saw something on TikTok, believe it or not. I don't like using TikTok. Well, sometimes I do. There's some nice stuff on there that I will not get into.
No,
but I saw this person popped up on the home. I don't use TikTok normally, so I mean it's still relatively new. But the whole FYP for you page, FYP, there was somebody that attended the game that this past Thursday, and he is a season ticket member. Actually, he got season ticket member. He's a season ticket member in the nosebleed section because that's all that they had, or no, that's what he could afford, which is understandable. Okay, we all don't have those resources, but anyways, he was basically saying how bad the people were, like the officials that work for the Texans. Starting with the security, they threw away his binocular case where he was able to bring him in, but according to them that he couldn't, and they threw it away. But then he brought up the code of conduct, the fan code of conduct. That's a whole little rule book on what the fans are able to bring in and what they couldn't.
Oh, and what to do with it and they can't do.
Right. They have a clear bag policy. htown.digital, I don't know if you're aware of this, but they have a clear bag policy to where if it's under a certain amount of measurement, you can bring it in as long as it's clear.
Yeah. Which is the same thing they do at the Astros, actually.
Right. His binocular case ended up passing it, and they still threw it away. So he said he sat for an hour to talk to the head honcho of security to try to get his case back. And the security was actually fighting him because they thought that they were right. Well, when they pulled up that fan code of conduct, whatever it's called.
You gotta show me this.
Yeah. The security person was like, okay, what do you want me to do? Like, I can't get your case back. I'm sorry. Like, I can't. What do you want me to do? So that was one thing. He goes into the stadium with his daughter. He has his 5-year-old with him. Keep in mind, and it's a school night. And he's having to deal with these. He said he almost missed part of the game because of that whole mess-up. A whole hour. Anyways, he gets into the stadium, and he says, like, the ushers are rude. The clientele is rude. Everybody is just rude. He had a bad experience. He left in the second quarter.
Wow.
As a season ticket member, he left in the second quarter. He said
that's unbelievable.
He said during pregame, you know how people go down almost to the field just to see them warm up and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
He talked to a security person or an usher or whatever and asked if him and his daughter could go down there. Mind you, he's a season ticket member, so of course season ticket members are going to be treated a little differently, but not to the extent over just somebody going to one single game. So he goes there, and he's there with his daughter. They're looking at everybody, and a security person comes up and tells him to move and to go away when he had permission as a season ticket member to be there.
That's unbelievable. Wow.
So not only is the team going down, the whole thing is going it's going south.
It's a circus.
And sorry to interrupt. This was in preseason, right? This year?
No. This was on Thursday.
Thursday night football.
On Thursday. Wow.
Yeah.
Even after the Sean Watson situation and all the Jack history stuff, they're still season ticket holders. Wow.
Yeah, and let me tell you something.
Extremely
And
dedicated.
let me tell you this. When at my old work, I had two coworkers that used to be representatives of the Houston Texans. During COVID, they were representatives of the ticketing department because that was the only thing they could do during the pandemic. So they would call people like, "Hey, did you want to, renew your season tickets, or do you want to relieve them? What do you want to do?" Right? That sort of faction. Both of them told me literally the same thing. 9 times out of the 10 times that they had, contacted these people, they canceled them right on the spot because of ownership, management, and coaching. Mind you, Bill O'Brien was still part of the team at this point, but it was going in that, you could already tell it was going in that direction. So once Bill O'Brien left, there was a little spike, but then the whole Deshaun Watson thing came out about him wanting to trade, and Easterby, Pastor E.
And then, of course, Bill O'Brien being fired and stuff like that.
Well, that's what I just said.
Because Jack Easterby ended up being, a secret enemy.
Right.
In other words.
Right. And she said people started canceling them left and right. They couldn't get nobody to get it for, I think she said for like a month. Both of them said that, like, for at least a month, nobody was signing up to be a season ticket member.
So apparently, the whole fan base situation with the Texans is basically like going down.
And I feel like at this time, you see those super fans that are in the stands, right? Like, you see them with their face paint
and the rowdy crowd, and
I feel like they're actually paying them to do that now, because there's nobody else doing that.
There's no way they have that low level of intelligence to be supporting this circus of a product that the Texans are right now. Like, that's just unbelievable. Like, I could understand if you go to one game or two, but season ticket holders, oh my God, I just have no words.
If I wanted to be a season ticket member years ago, I would have to be on the wait list. My friend was on the wait list since 2014, I believe, somewhere around there, and he was like
which were the heydays,
6,000 or 7,000, right around that ballpark.
Yeah.
Within that offseason, he became number 1, and they asked him if he wanted to be a season ticket member.
That's crazy.
That's terrible. But we got football to discuss. The Texans, I feel like they aren't really going to do that much this season.
If they barely at least squeeze out 2 wins out of this.
Expectations after all the craziness in the offseason.
And let me ask you this. Do you see Deshaun Watson getting traded before the trade deadline?
Please, I want to hear this too.
It could be a very big possibility, because I don't know if you guys saw a post that I made yesterday about Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I saw it.
I saw it.
I said on that post that there was this report by Dov Kleeman, an NFL insider on Twitter, that said trade talks have softened between Deshaun Watson, agent, the Texans front office, which is Nick Caserio, Jack Easterby, and the other guys, with other teams. And I believe one of those teams obviously is the Miami Dolphins, and the other team could be the Washington football team, because their quarterback situation is very unstable. But I'll leave that conversation to another day. Going back to the Deshaun Watson thing, yes, I believe Deshaun Watson, there's like at least a 60% chance he could be traded before the offseason. Either the Washington football team or the Miami Dolphins.
So let me ask you this. Do you think he's innocent? Do you think he's being set up?
That's a very broad question. I have my mixed feelings about it. At first, I thought it was all BS. But now that things started coming up and everything about him requesting a trade, I'll say a month or a few weeks before all this scandal came out of the 22 allegations. I didn't know it's 25. I kind of lost the number. All I know is that it was a quite large number of allegations. But it's hard to say. I'm 50-50 whether he's guilty or not. I guess we just gotta wait and see.
Okay. So do you know that Tony Busby, the lawyer that's fighting against him, lives in the same neighborhood as Cal McNair?
Yes, that's something that's extremely sketchy. And, by the way, they live in the same street.
Yeah.
Basically, they're neighbors.
Literally a few houses down the road.
And like you said, all this came out as soon as he requested a trade. So I think he's being set up. That's personally me. Me and Corben have had multiple discussions about this.
And we seen eye to eye on that, actually, because I'm thinking to myself, how do you know that the Texans aren't planning this to keep him from being traded. And then once you do trade him, all the allegations, get thrown underneath the bed. And then after
because
that,
again, Tony Busby said he's working for free for these women that were abused.
and how did they got the money to pay for it? First of all,
Exactly.
Wait, he said that? I don't remember.
Yeah, he said that. He said that. He goes, I will work for free to defend you. He said that.
Wow, that's a very big message. It kind of tells you that, they're not real allegations. But you know what's also weird about the situation? The Deshaun Watson's girlfriend, Jimmy or something? Chili,
yes,
or whatever her name.
Yes.
They're still together.
Thank you. I told him that.
Point.
I told him that.
Corbin literally made that point.
Because they were at a wedding not too long ago together.
Yeah, they were waiting, and they posted pictures not too long ago about Deshaun Watson's birthday.
Which proves he's not guilty. This is a whole setup.
Towards that, the only thing that kind of find weird is him requesting a trade and the allegations coming up, which goes to the point that I believe he's probably not guilty. That's what I'm saying. I'm 50-50 on that, but there's also the possibility he's guilty.
Yes, like in the court of law.
Remember the press conference that Rusty Harden had a few months ago that said he has consensual sex? So, yeah, I don't know.
The girl wasn't even crying.
Yes.
If you look closely, she wasn't even crying.
Oh, yeah, not her, yeah. She looked like she was definitely faking it. That girl, yeah, I don't believe it. I think that's BS.
Oh, God.
Yeah. No, yeah.
They
Anyways.
just setting my guy up.
Anyways, we got football to talk about. What do you think about Brandon Cooks?
Me personally or Corben?
You. I'm sorry.
You htown digital.
Oh, so Brandon Cooks, there's a few people saying that Brandon Cooks playing this well could work as a trade asset, but knowing how Brandon Cooks has been for this team this past few seasons, I'm not saying he's the Andrew Hopkins or anything, but he's probably their best offensive weapon. Honestly, there's no way the Texans trade him because there's just too much cultural relationship with Brandon Cooks. Because remember, when Brandon Cooks was here, Bill O'Brien and Jack Easterby got together and they made a trade with the Rams to bring him here for a second rounder. And remember, Jack Easterby was with the Patriots while Brandon Cooks was with the Patriots. So I believe there's no way they let one of their favorite guys leave just like that. I feel like he's going to be their new Hopkins in a while until they get a better offensive weapon. So, because I'm just impressed with Brandon Cooks.
At the end of the day, whether we like to admit it or not, this is a Pastor E team.
It is, yeah, unfortunately.
And I feel like at the end of the day, whatever he wants, he's going to get, and Hee-Haw is going to make it happen. Because think about it. That's his general manager that he has. He wasn't supposed to be here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was supposed to be Omar Khan, but then Jack Easterby's agent called Cal McNair that if he still wanted to have a close relationship with Jack Easterby, they had to cancel that appointment for Khan to get the job. So instead, they had to go to Boston and fly to go get Nick Caserio.
I wonder why. I wonder why.
So
another thing that I want to talk about, I don't know if this is Pastor E related. This might be Nikki C because, Nikki C, he's actually been doing kind of, decent finding these gems in the mud, if you want to put it like that.
Yeah, Nick Caserio has been surprisingly good.
And to be honest with you, him hiring Lovie Smith for defense kind of paid off. That defense is looking pretty good.
It is in the passing game, at least it's looking decent. In the run game, still very suspect.
Right.
Yes.
Right. It is still, but it's better than what Anthony Weaver did all these other seasons.
Or Roman Cornell. Kind of keeping in mind, Roman Cornell still had a lot of influence.
Right. But for the benefit of the doubt, everybody blames the Anthony Weaver thing, and because Anthony Weaver had that message of playing the man and not the ball when you in sports, play the ball in order to be successful.
I felt like that was the most.
That was his memo.
I felt like
defensively.
That was the most.
Well, hang on. Okay. He said that the reports came out of whenever Anthony Weaver was the defensive coordinator for the Texans, he told his defense, play the man, not the ball. And, as people would, as any other player would do with a coach, they're going to listen to the coach, and they're going to do what they were told. so they can play, obviously, right? So, with that being said, why would you not play the ball?
To me,
I don't get it.
To me, that was the most ludicrous philosophy I've ever heard in my life.
We were talking about was some like specific type of defense. I think it was explicit or something like that.
Yeah. No, I was when that report came out, I was mind boggled. I'm like, why won't you play the ball? You're supposed to play the ball. And then the man.
First of all, what I was thinking to myself,
you need the ball to contribute points.
Yes.
How else are you supposed to
carry the man to the end zone? No.
On a defensive, because football's a two-way sport. You can score on defense and you can score on offense.
Or you can even score on special teams.
Well, what are the odds of you running it back?
Obviously, I know every one out of every other top 20 opportunities, but I'm just saying.
So
you can score several ways.
So would you put that as an offense when you're receiving the ball?
Yeah.
Anyways, it's a two-way sport. Either way, you have to. If you're on defense, and this goes for any sport, you have to play the ball.
Not the man.
So what? You can play the man. You can play the man, but you have to play the ball first.
The ball is the target.
Correct. And I think it's mind-boggling that in just 3 weeks, they already matched their interception total from last season. Last season, they only had three interceptions.
Three takeaways.
Already, they already have, I believe they beat it already, 4.
Mm-hmm. But they're still at the bottom of the barrel as far as defense. But still, they've broken their own record of takeaways. The defense is better than a little bit better than expected. Not elite, but deep. In the middle of the pack.
Right.
It's there.
And like what htown.digital said, the run game is still very suspect. Yes. The next couple games that the Texans have next Sunday, or I should say this Sunday, or depending on whenever you listen to the pod. Regardless, if you're one of our listeners, one of htown.digital's followers, and listening to
Sunday
the pod for the very first time,
they play against the Buffalo Bills.
They play against the Bills. That's probably going to be a blowout. htown.digital, can we agree with that?
Which game? The next one?
Yes, against the Bills.
Oh yeah, easily. There's no question about it. They're playing at home. Texans have Davis Mills. They don't have Tyrod Taylor playing, so there's no chance at a win. And if they thought they had the slightest chance of a win at home versus the Panthers, who had Christian McCaffrey injured for most of the game, there's no chance that they win this game versus the Bills.
No.
And there's also no chance they keep it close. I would be extremely surprised if they keep it at a one-score game, like let's say a touchdown or a field goal away.
Then in week 5, the Patriots come into town. That's actually might be an interesting game because that offense is terrible.
Yeah.
The Patriots offense?
Yes.
With Mac Jones.
With Mac Jones. Then they have a divisional matchup against the Colts. Again, this is all on Sundays.
And this is a Carson Wentz probably.
It's a Cardinals game that I'm very excited to watch because we're going to be playing the former Texans have a chip on their shoulder for how they were treated versus the Texans.
And Kyler Murray is playing outrageous again. I wish that game was here in Houston because I would genuinely go to that game. But, we're going to leave it at that.
Then on the 31st, we play against the Rams,
which is going to
be a blow.
Strong Super Bowl contender at the moment.
Who actually
the Rams. I feel like this will be another blowout.
Yes.
It is.
And they play here in Houston at the biggest church in the United States.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. So that's going to wrap up the weeks in October. Yeah, I don't know if I already asked you this, but what do you think about the? Oh, all right, I did ask you because you said the run defense was very suspect. Corb, right. I'm gonna turn it over to you on the Texans. Actually, you know what? I'm not.
No, hit me with it.
No, you're a Cowboys fan.
I don't
Speaking
care.
Of which, your Cowboys are playing right now. How are them boys doing?
27-7.
Ooh, against the Eagles. You hear that, htown.digital? They're winning. Ooh.
But dude, just ask me the question.
The Eagles are,
Thank you. I got nothing to say about that. I'm just.
I feel like the Eagles.
But just ask me the question, Marco. What's the question you wanted to ask me?
How do you feel about the Texans going in October? What do you think the record is going to be? Again, they play the Bills, Patriots, Colts, Cardinals, and Rams. What do you think they're going to go? I'm going to start off with you, Corb, then I'm going to turn it over to you, htown.digital, but I want to hear Corbin first. I want to see from an outsider's perspective on what the Texans are going to do.
Okay. I know the obvious ones that are going to be, the obvious losses.
Okay.
But looking at the whole month as itself, they might at least squeeze out one game. But at the same time, knowing that they're very suspect, they might not win no games at all this month.
Oh, okay. All right. htown.digital, what do you see the Texans' record being in October? They play the Bills, Patriots, Colts, Cardinals, and Rams.
So it's Bills, Patriots, Colts, Cardinals, and Rams?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that's 5 games, right?
Yeah.
So I see the Texans going 1-4.
Okay. Who do you see the Texans beating?
I know it's going to
So I see the Texans possibly beating the Patriots because I feel like it's going to be a defensive game because both offenses are playing at a very low level. So whoever defense performs best, and I don't know why I have a funny feeling that the Texans defense will play really good that game, and they're going to try their best to give a win at home because unfortunately it's not going to be a lot of moments that you'll be able to enjoy during the season, and this will be one of those few.
That's a fair point.
Okay. I believe the Texans will squeeze out 2 victories.
Against the Dolphins.
Wow, that's
Against
a
the
hot
Dolphins? It is a hot take, right?
But does one include with the Dolphins and Patriots?
They don't play the Dolphins in October.
I mean, sorry about that.
You see what happens when we get a Cowboys fan on here? They don't know what they're talking about.
Oh my God, dude! Really?
Okay, so you're saying 2 wins, but there's no way you have them beating the Cardinals, right? Or the Rams.
No.
Who you got beating?
The Colts. Because
That's a fair point. I see that.
Because what if Tyrod Taylor comes back?
Yeah, Taylor could come back that game.
Okay.
If Tyrod Taylor comes back, they will beat the Colts, but they're going to get steamrolled against the Bills this Sunday. They're going to get steamrolled against the Cardinals in about 3 weeks.
And the Rams.
And the Rams here in about a month. On the 31st.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what were you saying?
Oh, I was saying that, I think I could agree in some part with the Colts win because the Colts have not been looking as bright as I thought they were going to be. They're 0-3.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're 0-3.
Right, that's right. They're 0-3.
Let me ask you this question. How did you feel about the Tennessee Titans changing their name to the Oilers this past Sunday?
It hit me deep. Even though I was not born when the Oilers were playing here in Houston, but I have family ties. I have cousins who were diehard Oilers fans.
So do I.
Are Texans fans now, obviously, because they're the new team in the city.
Right.
But they obviously prefer to go back to that era and enjoy those glorious days, even though we had that horrible blow lead in the playoffs against the Bills. But at the same time, the Oilers were a different energy, not this weird Texans energy ran by Christianity and other non-football related stuff.
And not knocking down religion. Not knocking down religion. You just can't. I mean, if you go back to the episode with me and Big Shot Bob, I gotta get you to meet Big Shot Bob, by the way, but if you go
football
down,
genius.
If you go down to episode 3, I believe it was one of the earliest episodes I ever done. I had Big Shot Bob on the show. And Bob was talking about it. He hit the nail on the coffin. You cannot tie religion with football. Football is football. You can't do that. I mean, yeah, the players can, have some ties, but your ownership that can't be your main driving force in football. And if the listeners want to go back and listen to episode 3, was it episode 3, Corb? Can we get a fact check?
It actually was episode 5.
Episode 5. Okay, so if you want to go back to episode 5 and listen to me and Big Shot Bob, if you want to zoom towards the end, because at that time the Texans were at the end of the show, listen to me and Big Shot Bob's conversation about the Texans at that point. And
I'll check that for sure.
Yes, for sure. And listen to it to episode 5. And he, like I said, he hit the nail in the coffin. You cannot put religion with football, especially if you're the owner of a franchise.
Amen to that.
Yeah, because how are the guys that are not religious or from other religions are going to feel? They're going to feel discriminated or isolated.
Thank
and
you.
And the thing is, no, I didn't even think of that point, that what you just said. But I also didn't think from that perspective. Me and Bob were just speaking, facts, saying, yo, you can't do this. You're driving away the best thing to ever come to this franchise in Deshaun Watson.
Ever since Warren Moon.
Well,
And Deshaun Watson is a faithful Christian man, but this is just too much.
Thank you.
Exactly. You can't. I mean, who knows if he's Christian or not? Let's just start with that. But let's just.
He's Christian because I've seen his tweets.
Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, we know. So, but my thing is that you can't overpower religion with football. I'm sorry, you just can't. You can't.
With any other professional sport, you gotta have those things separate from the actual business, because if you're an NFL owner or owner of any other professional franchise, there's only two things that matter from now and forever, and those two things are, number one, winning, and number two, revenue.
Amen.
And I feel like the Texans, I brought it up a Corb a couple episodes ago, the Texans are not going to have enough revenue to be here in Houston any much longer.
And we did kind of see eye to eye. We did see eye to eye on that. It ain't no kind of. We did see eye to eye that if the Texans don't somehow find a way to boost the revenue, we said together they're gonna sell the team. They're gonna move, or in other words, move the team actually.
And the whole thing with the Oilers is gonna repeat itself again, which is gonna leave Houston without a football team because ownership is terrible. Now, if Cal McNair sells the team, and the owner stays here,
yeah, and the right person actually buys the team and knows
football, right?
Yeah,
then maybe it could change. But as of right now, I told Corben, give it about 5 years and the Texans are going to be gone.
I always said a maximum of 8, but okay.
They'll start using their own money to sell revenue because keep in mind they're a billionaire family. They have a lot of money. They're one of the most richest people here in the state of Texas.
And in order to be successful in the NFL as a franchise owner, you have to generate revenue. Look at the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. Look at the Rams. Look at the Patriots. Look at the Jets. The Jets, out of all teams.
As bad as they suck, they generate revenue.
The Washington football team.
The most unexpected.
Everybody hates their owners, but they're still selling out that stadium night in and night out.
I mean, look at the.
I know many Cowboys fans that hate Jerry Jones, but they still support the Cowboys because
they can't tell the difference between the left and the right. So, sorry, Corb, didn't see you there.
Oh my God. You see how he slides those little punches in? I like those little jabs he always throws in.
Yeah,
but
I'll
guess
throw
what?
you a rib.
Don't worry. That's my bro.
Those are passionate teams or passionate fans about their football team. They're gonna ride or die with them no matter what. I mean, another example, if you want to tie in.
Look at the Giants.
The Patriots.
That's what I was. Yeah,
the Patriots this Sunday. I don't know if you saw this Sunday's game against the Saints and the Patriots. That house was jam packed.
It really was
jam packed. And do you think they like the direction their football team's going in?
No.
But look,
20. They got good 20 years.
And the Texans can't even sell out their stadium on a Thursday night primetime game.
And we're on national television.
That is awful.
Horrible.
That is terrible. That is terrible. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Texans are finally here. There's football. It's good to see football back in the state of Texas. Other than Dallas, I don't know about y'all. Although I will say,
the Texas Longhorns are another team to pay.
Oh, absolutely! Hook him. We just beat Texas Tech.
Jesus Christ!
Hook 'em. Bro. The Cougars are making some noise a little bit, but
yeah, they're making a little bit of noise.
Yeah.
Hey, and remember they're joining the SEC. The SEC? No, I wish the Big 12, which is still a big step.
Yeah, the U of H is joining the Big 12. I feel like that's going to be beneficial for both the basketball and football team.
Better competition.
Yes, because the basketball team can and will
eventually win the NCAA championship.
Yes, because Coach Sampson knows what he's doing.
Thank you.
Coach Sampson knows what he's doing. Anything else you want to say about the Texans, htown Digital?
No, that's pretty much what I wanted to say about the Texans in a short summary. There's just not really much to talk about. Just the same Deshaun Watson situation hasn't really moved anywhere. The record right now, the season record is 1-2, which is just the beginning of the season. There's still a long season to be played, and we never know how many wins this team could be under Tyrod Taylor. Let's just see how he does with his hamstring injury. If it doesn't linger, this team might surprise and at least get 5 or 6 wins. That's my prediction of how good Tyrod Taylor was looking.
Oh, okay.
5 to 6 wins. Okay.
5 to 6 wins. We had the Texans. I had the Texans winning only like 3 games, but
I had at least 2.
But Tyrod Taylor, man, he's been surprisingly good.
Yeah, surprisingly is a big keyword. Corb, anything else you want to say? You only have 5 seconds. 5.
Can I get a Hail Mary?
4. 3.
Just get through the season.
Yeah, because you're a Cowboys fan. You are a Cowboys fan, let alone. So I will
Yeah, at
not
least I'm
forget.
not like the rest of them. So
Yeah, enjoy the win, Corb.
yeah, I'm just taking.
I
each
feel like
week.
I still feel like y'all aren't gonna win y'all's division. H-Town Digital, do you think the Cowboys are gonna win their division? Be honest.
On my early season predictions, I actually had them winning the division, but as of right now, I feel like the Washington football team might surprise people.
I'm not surprised you said.
WFT?
I'm not surprised you said that because I've heard that too, and I'm thinking to myself. I've looked at the team. I was like, golly, this
Let's go
defense,
WFT.
the defense is off the chart.
Give me a jersey.
I swear, if you wear that jersey in here,
Oh, I will gladly.
you'll wear it. Wait, hold on.
It's
Will
gonna
you,
be a
matter of fact,
customized one?
Will you wear it on Thanksgiving?
Is that where y'all going against Thanksgiving?
I don't know, but I'm wondering. Will you at least walk in? Will you? If you,
I will gladly walk up in here with a WFT shirt
Oh, I got to
and
see
say
this.
WFT.
I got to see this. I got
I
to
will
see
gladly
this.
say that WFT.
I will make a.
Wait, you
bet
want a
with
white
you.
or maroon one?
It don't matter. Just wear the.
Hey,
Just wear the
what do you
doggone
think?
thing.
Maroon or white?
What were you asking again? Sorry, I kind of lost track.
The
of what you were
the
saying.
jersey color of
The Washington football team.
Yeah, what
that
should
looks
I-
like the comebacks.
What should I wear? A maroon jersey with or white jersey?
I'll go with maroon.
Oh yeah. Throw me back to my old high school days, my freshman and sophomore year.
Sweet Jesus.
Yeah, maroon and gold. WFT.
Oh my God. bro.
I can see it now. Number 1 on the back of the nameplate because ain't nobody or maybe I might get an Antonio Gibson one depending on if he doesn't get traded or not. But if he stays through with it, and I might get his jersey or I might customize mine where it says number 1, and on the nameplate it will say WFT.
Or why not wear your father's jersey number? Family ties, 4, 8, Just out of respect here.
Okay, I'll keep that into consideration.
Yeah.
I'll keep that into consideration.
Game breakdown. Or whatever they say. I just had a notification that says the Oakland A's are up 3-0 to the Seattle Mariners, and if the Oakland A's
What's
win
the inning?
the Astros magic number shrinks down to 1.
What's the inning though?
Oh,
I told you we need Seattle to lose tonight.
go
A's!
Go A's.
Go A's! Woo! Let's go, Tony Kemp.
Yeah. Kempin ain't easy.
Kempin ain't easy. Kempin ain't easy. All right. Hear that music? You know what that means?
Basketball is back in session.
Woo-wee! The NBA is right around the corner. And you know what also comes in October next to postseason in the MLB and football?
The NBA season
NBA season.
on October 8th.
Exciting season for sure.
And today, it was Media Day for the Houston Rockets and the other teams in the NBA, unfortunately. But it was Media Day, and we got our first glimpse of Media Day of the players and the type of content that is produced by the Houston Rockets in the post-James Harden era. I got news, actually. I don't know if I covered this a couple episodes ago, but there will be a new PA announcer for the Houston Rockets. The old PA announcer, which is Matt Thomas.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, MT. He is going to do full-time radio. And Craig Ackerman, who did the away games on AT&T Sportsnet, where you can watch your Houston Rockets this season, will now do all games. So he'll now be on home and away, and Matt Thomas will be on radio for home and away as well. So that's some news because Bill Worrell retired,
Yeah.
one of the greatest voices in Houston sports history.
Decided,
Yep,
and decided to hang it up.
which was time.
Yeah, it was that time.
So that's the news. But
And my brother too, remember?
oh yeah,
Yeah, Matt Bullard.
Matt Bullard got a job. His contract didn't. They didn't renew his contract for AT&T, but he found a front office job for the Houston Rockets, so it all kind of worked out. Good for him.
We had the, he got the stroke, pull the stroke around there. a
Actually
little
went
bit.
against his kid back in like my AAU days. I went up against this kid back in the day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you do damage?
Did I do damage? Come on, brother. You know who you're talking to.
Yes, I know you. I know. I'm just asking a question. What damage did you do?
I mean,
Come on, talk about yourself a little bit. Come on, I want to
I
hear
don't
this.
like doing that. I don't.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Hey,
You want to talk?
I
You want to talk?
I don't-
Talk about the time we went to go play ball a couple weeks ago. What happened?
Hey, I was out of shape, man. I was out of shape.
Mr. Airballing layups.
Hey, I was out of shape, man.
Whatever. Anyways, it is media day, or it was media day, and the Rockets will have training camp in Galveston this year.
Ooh, my stomping grounds.
Oh my God. You know who lives? What'd you say? H-Town?
I'll say that was gonna be something new because I don't think that has ever happened before.
No, they usually have their training camp, I believe, in Toyota,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they usually have it in Toyota Center.
Huh. Well, this session of the Rockets is going to be very long, and it's going to be, how can I say?
Heavy.
Yes, because there was so much content that came out with Media Day, and I love it. I love it. It's a whole new team.
I mean, he was man down. He was like man down in the TV, and I was like man down in Twitter, just keeping up with information.
And I got on the radio as well when I was on my way to doing whatever I was doing. H-Town Digital. What did you think of the Rockets last season? And what did you think about their off season?
So to get started with the regular season last year, there were many factors that played into the final record of the season, which was the last record of the NBA, but it ended up being worth it because look at the offseason, what happened. Look at all the rookies that we got. An insane amount of rookies in just one draft class. We got probably one of the best prospects in the last 4 to 3 years in baseball rankings, and Jalen Green number 2, which I believe he should have gone number 1, but Kate Cunningham was the obvious number 1 pick for Detroit.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we got Alperen Sengun, who makes everyone happy. We know that. And he was supposed to be drafted by the OKC Thunder, but then the Rockets made a trade and got him and traded, I believe, 2 first-round picks for him, which ended up being a very good trade because we saw a first glimpse of him in the preseason summer league for the rookies, and he did pretty good. And then we got Josh Christopher and Usman Garuba. I believe the picks were back-to-back.
Yes.
And those guys look very promising, too. Josh Christopher has connections with Jalen Green since they both played together in the
AAU
academy
circuit.
back then in California.
In the AAU circuit, yeah.
And Garuba is one of the best international basketball players overseas. So that was a great pick. He was a top player in Spain with Real Madrid. So that's also something else to notice.
I think I like the... Oh, I'm sorry. Keep going.
Well, I said, I feel like it was bad at the end. At the beginning, but at the end, I believe it was like light at the end of the tunnel. We have something to work with. We have a future.
Yeah, and I think I like the Usman trade. Acquisition in the draft a whole lot. The best defensive player in the Spaniard League in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
The man played on the Olympic team for Spain. This past Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
And I've kind of watched a sample of like what he brings.
Have you seen how big that guy is?
Yeah.
He's huge.
He's huge.
And think about it. Overseas, them leagues are not...
No joke.
No. They are very, very physical. My father played professional ball, actually. And, from a professional standpoint and what he's always, told me growing up on the stories that he had, explained to me, the overseas leagues are better than the NBA from a physical standpoint. You actually got to play ball. You got to grit and grind in order to get somewhere near the basket or to get a basket. So
you gotta fight to get a basically just
literally, yeah.
Fight the whole game.
It's so physical. So I love the thought of having these overseas teams or players coming from overseas and getting that physical in the NBA, because I feel like that's what the NBA needs, and I feel like that's what the Rockets need with this whole new rebuild, is because you need someone to get physical. I think that's what they lacked a lot over these past couple of years.
You need that guy to put the other person in a body bag.
They just lacked physicality.
Yeah.
They didn't like to be physical.
Mm-hmm.
They're not as aggressive. But I feel like Usman, he looks like he's a freaking tank. I feel like he's going to be very physical. Daniel Tice, a German player, very physical player.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, very physical.
And so is
overseas, which will obviously go on Garuba and Sengun's side, you know.
Of course.
So yeah, actually going off of Sagoon, actually watching him in the summer league, I watched his game. It's like he don't mind like throwing elbows at anybody.
Nope.
He don't mind like getting dirty with anybody. It's like, although he missed some layups and stuff, what did he do? The main thing that I liked the most, he rebounded. He even fought through the crowds and through whatever pain that he could throw at him. So
and that ties back to what I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
He is physical. He's very physical. So with that being said, there was Media Day.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of notes I took about Media Day, and there's a lot of things I want to go over with. Starting with Steven Silas and Rafael Stone. H-Town Digital, what do you think of Steven Silas?
Oh man, I think he's the perfect coach for the situation for the Rockets right now. A young coach with a young team. There's nothing better than that. And I don't know if you guys saw the press conference today. Most of the players have nothing but good things to say about Coach Silas. Coach Silas will go out of his way and meet up with players to just have lunch or dinner or just try to bond with every single individual in that team, no matter how long that player was going to be in the team, if that player was going to be a trade asset or whatever. He literally cared about every single team member. That just speaks volumes about the type of person and coach Steven Silas is. He's just a great human, man.
Yeah.
Literally, you can't find any errors on him as a human, at least, because as a coach, it's still too early to determine if he's a horrible coach or a elite coach. Just give him time.
Yeah, I really feel like he was thrown into the fire, so to speak, last season, because there was a whole lot of drama with one of the biggest drama queens in the NBA, which we know who that is.
Yes.
The person that should not get their jersey number retired. That's just me. But
wait? Hold on. Since we're gonna go on that, okay. H-Town Digital. Do you believe that James Harden should get his jersey retired as a Rocket?
I think that regardless of whatever happened this offseason, based on his stats and numbers and his playoff history, you have no choice than to have James Harden's jersey retired. Even though he gave us no rings, but offensively, he was the second best player in franchise history after Hakeem Olajuwon, the all-time great.
Now hold on now. I will be careful with what you say with that statement, because there's a big difference. Hakeem got 2 rings. What does James Harden have?
2 Western Conference Finals appearances in 8 seasons.
In 8 seasons, correct. That's why I'm a little skeptical about James Harden's legacy in Houston, but
so you on 50-50.
Number 13 that I think will do the same or more things that James Harden did.
Either way, I'm over it.
Okay.
I'm over it too.
I'm over it. So let's look into what's happening today. So if you saw the media day that the Rockets had, they were filming it on their YouTube channel, I believe on Facebook. I don't have Facebook, so I don't know. But
I was watching a little bit, yeah.
They were streaming their interviews that they had at Toyota Center or the Post Oak Hotel, wherever they were, on their YouTube channel. And they started off with Steven Silas and Rafael Stone.
Mm-hmm.
So Steven Silas was asked about, how was their bonding trip in the Bahamas and, how the team is doing up to now, yada, 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 something along those lines. And he said this, quote, "Their trip to the Bahamas was great for them to come together as a group. You think about the young guys that we have. Some of them are from overseas. They were thinking about how to come together as a group." Excuse me. So if the Bahamas trip really went really, really well, and think about it, half of your team is like 19. 20 years old.
Yeah.
That says a lot. That says a lot. It's not these kids that think they own the place yet. You know what I mean? If the Bahamas, if they're speaking the truth here, which I feel like the Rockets didn't really do whenever Moore was here.
Yeah.
But if it all went to plan, the Rockets can honestly do something.
They really could, yeah.
We're not saying
win a championship.
we're not going deep into that conversation, but we know that we can be a contender.
Well, I wouldn't. Maybe a playoff contender.
I wouldn't say a contender, but I would say in the fight for a play-in spot.
Right.
Yes.
Maybe play-in or
if they keep it.
If they keep it. But you know, if the bond is there, then the chemistry is gonna come. Not to mention you still
have time and a few other acquisitions in the future.
Right, and you still have veterans presence on the team in Christian Wood, Daniel House, Eric Gordon.
John Wall.
Well, hang on now.
John Wall was gonna...
Well, he's still going to be with the team, but he's not going to play.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is good.
He's waiting until he gets traded.
Right. So, and I feel like they are going to trade him, but they're not going to get what they want, I feel like. Because if he still owed $91 million on his contract.
And that's over the next 2 seasons,
and I'm glad y'all brought up... Yeah, and I'm glad y'all brought up John Wall because... Whenever he came up for Media Day, he did do an interview. He did participate. He did do all this other stuff because you would think somebody that's not going to play on the team.
And he was a consummate professional about it.
Right. And you would think he'd just be sitting at home.
Watching
But
whatever.
He's very involved with the team, and I love it. And they asked Rafael Stone, because Rafael Stone was right next to him during their interview.
Mm-hmm.
And he was asked, if you were interested in a buyout for John Wall. And Rafael Stone literally straight up said, there's no plans for a buyout. So, you know, that tells me he's going to be very involved on these trade talks. He was able to fleece a lot of teams for what he wanted. And I feel like it's going to go that way. But I feel like at the end of the day...
It's going to take some time.
Right. He's not going to get what he wants.
Yeah.
H-Town did... What were you going to say?
I was just going to talk about a trade that I did not like about Rafael Stone, but I'll leave it for later. But what were you going to ask me?
Oh, I mean, you could bring it up now. I was going to ask you, how do you feel about him as a general manager thus far?
Well, at first I had my questions about him because I feel like he did not get enough for the James Harden trade, which later looked like it backfired because I don't know if you guys remember that they traded Victor Oladipo for Kelly Olynyk, who's not longer around this organization anymore. And they also traded Avery Bradley. That was probably my least part of watching Rockets basketball last year. I couldn't stand a single minute of him on the court. And another part that I did not like about Rafael Stone in some way was that he traded Russell Westbrook for another bad contract, which was John Wall. But as of now, after the trade that he had and after the acquisition of Daniel Theis, my opinion has changed a little bit about him. Like, I'm not saying he's an amazing general manager, but he definitely shocked me and proved me that he could do something meaningful for this team.
Yeah.
So I'll say I'll give him B- right now.
Okay.
Just based on the amazing draft that he had. Since he was higher, of course.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a fair grade.
Shout out to Jorge, a.k.a. Big Whore, a.k.a.
El Cuh, a.k.a. El Toxico.
Okay, Corben said that, not me. But, yes, he could talk a lot of Rockets. And he had the point of saying, yo, before all this was going down, he wanted Cade Cunningham or Jalen Green, and he liked the idea of Jalen Green being on the Rockets. Would you agree with the statement that this will be? I mean, I believe he said that this was going to be his, like, whoever we draft, this was going to be his team.
Yeah.
So you think, as of this moment, that it is Jalen Green's team?
As of right now, it kind of looks like it in some way, but I feel like they're also leaning also towards KPJ, because I feel like all the moves that they did during this season is based on KPJ, because you got to keep in mind how John the team is, and he even said on his press conference, this team has given me so much and it has saved my life.
Yeah, he did say that today in media day.
Yeah.
Because John Lucas did take him under his wing, like he does with many players, bring him here to Houston and actually like give him a feel, you know, not just as a basketball player, but also like, you know, their mentality wise of where they are with life and everything like that.
And Coach Silas also took him his wing as well.
Yes.
So answer this question. What do you think of Christian Wood? And do you think that he has a voice in the locker room? Is he playing that Carlos Correa soul of heart and soul?
Ooh,
or what do you think of him? Because I feel like this is still his team, but I feel like he's the captain of the ship, so to speak.
I agree. Yeah, I feel like he's gonna become that new vocal voice and the leader of the team, because gotta keep in mind with the John Wall situation, he's no longer gonna be the biggest star or the most experienced player in the roster. So I believe Christian Wood, based on his impact alone, is gonna make the whole locker room respect him and look at him as the biggest leader. And he keeps on tweeting a lot of meaningful tweets on Twitter saying that, oh, I'm gonna be better than next year. I'm ready. I'm motivated. That guy looks like the new fan favorite for this team. I mean, we could disagree on that because obviously Jalen Green, big market value. He's going to bring a lot of fans of him too, but I believe Christian Wood is the new fan favorite for the Houston Rockets.
Yeah, and that's another good point. There is a lot of fans of Jalen Green, and I honestly don't blame them because that man can hoop.
And to be honest with you, looking at Jalen Green, he's going to be leading a new wave of players. You know, like you don't have to take that obvious, go to,
You know what vibes he reminds me? Like, you know whose vibes he has?
Please tell. If you say it, I know the name.
The player that should have been on the Rockets a long time ago.
Oh my God.
Kelly
Oubre
Jr.
Oh my God.
Oubre. Yeah, he gives me those similar vibes, especially from the woman's perspective. Like, he has a lot of females.
Oh, I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say like
he went right out the box with that.
Oh, yeah. No, I wasn't going to talk about that at all from that perspective. But what I'm saying is that he brings that type of swag. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has that type of attitude.
And he walks with confidence.
Exactly.
That's what this team needed. Especially after the Russell Westbrook and James Harden departures. This team really needed this.
Well, after Harden, because... Okay,
he gets real silent. Oh my God, he is kind of sensitive on this.
I want to be completely honest here. If that team could have worked, okay, it could have. With Russell Westbrook here and Harden, it would have worked if Harden would have just taken the back seat and let Russ control, because he's a point guard. He's a natural point guard.
I do agree on that 100%.
Thank you. Okay, so anyways, back to the present and the future
of Houston Rockets basketball.
Sengun took the
podium.
Yes, I don't know why I can't talk. Sengun took the podium and they asked him, how you liking it here, how you're oh my God, my mind's going blank.
It's because you're very excited.
I am highly excited. Yeah. Basically he says that, again, like you mentioned, H-Town, Silas is very vocal and he's here for his team. And I think that's so surreal. Everybody. Yeah, because what other team's coach is doing that?
No one. Yeah.
No other team's coach is doing that. They asked him about what he says to the ball when he's making the free throw, and he says,
the free throw
says it's top secret and will stay with me.
Hey, respect the man's superstition.
And Sengun says he played a lot of NBA 2K when he was in Turkey and growing up, and he says he can't believe he can't believe he's playing with the players he played with in the game, and he modeled his game after all the players that he basically played.
He said like Nikola Jokic.
Jokic. Yeah. Because of that European presence.
Baby Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, and then again, he mentioned Silas, and how how Silas invited him to have dinner with them at Silas's house.
Basically.
And remember, he doesn't even speak English that much.
Exactly. Exactly. And Silas is making connections like this.
Basically, Coach Silas is basically a player's coach.
Don't be surprised if he also starting to learn some Turkish to try to learn his way with Sengun. Don't be surprised. I'm sure Steven Silas is that kind-hearted man to do that.
No, yeah.
Very considerate. Very considerate.
So the next person that was up on the podium was my guy, Christian Wood. And he says his goal is to be an all-star. His mindset doesn't change, and he's even more motivated than before. He also mentioned that his ankle is at 100% as well, which could play a big factor into what the Rockets will do this season.
Plus, he says he's mainly focused on team goals.
And they asked him, how did you feel about Daniel Tice coming over, and would you play alongside him? And he said, yes, 100%. He doesn't matter if it's playing the 4 or 5. He told the coaching staff that he wants to be able to defend 1 through 5, and he wants to be more involved in the offense this season.
I like the sound of that, actually.
Yeah. htown Digital, what do you have to say about Christian Wood and his comments that he had on Media Day?
I really like his confidence, honestly. It looks like he's a player that really believes in his abilities to help this team be in the best position possible. And I feel like his leadership is really going to help out this team in the long run. And his versatility when it comes down to playing power forward and center is really going to open up a lot of spots for other players to get involved, like, let's say, Garuba, Sengun, Anthony, also, I really don't really like how he plays, but he needs to show a little bit of what he got left. And honestly, Daniel Tice. So he's a player who's really going to make things easier for the coaching staff and the players.
Yeah,
so Christian Wood is a very important piece.
It's like we said.
People want to trade him.
Yeah,
like that say, hey, Christian Wood, like, what are you saying, man?
Yeah, and it's like we said, he's gonna be more vocal, and he's gonna embrace that leadership role that we were talking about earlier before we even started talking about him. He also said he's also happy to be healthy and wants to stay that way. He said, quote, I think I only gave you guys 41 games last year, so I expect to give you more games. That's that dog mentality. That's that leadership mentality that I like, and that what these teams lack nowadays. This team...
The league's got so young, it's like you can't even tell who's the actual veteran presence, you know, upon the team.
Yeah,
and he's really
that's crazy.
He's only 24, 25, and, you know, he's speaking like a veteran.
26, actually. Today was his birthday.
Well, happy birthday, Christian Wood.
Yeah, happy birthday, Christian Wood.
It'll be nice
if you'll be hearing us.
Oh, yeah. And then he also says that he believes he's a star right now, and to expand...
Should have won Most Improved Player last season.
Yeah, he should have played. He should have got MIP. That's me. That's on me.
Yeah, he was in the process of doing that. He was having some crazy stat lines and some crazy performance, especially when he was playing with Victor and John, and also the short glimpse that we had with Harden and Wood. Imagine what would it have been. Wow.
And you bring up his stat line, and then I'm glad you did that, because Wood averaged more points per possession than James Harden, Jason Tatum, Bradley Beal, Damian Lillard, Nikola Jokic, Karl Anthony Towns, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Luka Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Trae Young, and Pandemic P. Paul George.
Let's think about that. Those are big name players we're talking about here.
He probably stayed all season healthy.
Yeah.
Think about it. Just listen to that whole list. Those are all-star caliber players in which he actually had more possession of the ball more than those guys.
And I think all but one player made the all-star team. Yeah. Karl Anthony Towns is the only person on this list that didn't make the all-star game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is crazy. So you think about that stat line, or that line that I just told you, and put him behind KPJ and Jalen Green.
And whoever we slide in at 3 might be
the Magic offense that's soon to be.
Yes.
So it's looking very, very, very hopeful and bright.
Let me ask you this question. H-Town Digital.
Okay.
What do you think about Jalen Green? Because I have very big, expectations for him, especially.
I really do too.
Because I think he kind of has that Mamba mentality in him.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not saying he's Kobe, y'all. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I think he actually
Yeah, I see
has
what you're
that.
saying.
I think he actually has that Mamba mentality to actually go get you a bucket. The jump shot still needs a little bit more work. It's in development, but I know that he knows how to get you a bucket. And plus, I think he can actually be a very great two-way player. Actually, looking at his length and wingspan, I'm thinking to myself, he can actually, defend out there. Actually,
Yeah, he actually showed that a lot in the G League. He was very hard to get off when he was guarding you. He did amazing in defense, not only because of his offense, he was a number 2 overall pick, but because of he also did on the defense. He also
Thank you.
helped in some blocking situations too, similar to how KJ Martin was doing in the regular season last year. Imagine those two now that are not big men, like the traditional big men, but still have some ability of blocking.
we're gonna have a low-key good defensive team. I can see it. I'm not.
And it will be, yeah.
Yeah. So then the next person to take the podium was the new free agency's big man,
Daniel Tice.
And somebody asked him why he chose Houston. He said, "The talks I had with Rafael Stone and coach, the whole situation and team." He said he learned from other vets on how to lead guys, and now I hope I can. He said, "quote, now I hope I can give all the young guys here, help them adjust to the NBA and develop year by year." Remember, he learned from Al Horford.
Yes, on the Celtics.
And he learned from, the other vets that
were
are
on the
there.
team.
And now he's one of them voices.
And once again, Coach Silas's magic playing a part.
And another thing I wanted to bring up that I forgot to mention about Christian Wood, Silas traveled to go see him in these parts of the country. I think that's so crazy that he's making these connections with his players one-on-one.
Once again.
I know, it's insane. It's like a father figure for every player.
Yeah.
Because that whole team is young. The whole team is young. There's the father. There's all the sons for him.
Yeah, and then Tice really emphasized defense. He said defense is about communication and trust. Mistakes will happen, but you have to talk. It's about effort as well. And I cannot agree with them anymore.
And plus he even said in the interview, he said I won't mind playing the 5 and letting Christian Wood play the 4 because I know the center, like he said, the center has to watch everything on the floor.
Yep. And then Daniel Tice said, piggyback on what you said, Corb, he said, on playing with Christian Wood, he said, quote, definitely we can play together. We're just going to play fast, get stops, and just run. So, yeah, I'm with it.
Very considerate.
So they're really open-minded, and I love it. And he says his role is going to be the defensive anchor because, like you said, Corb, the center sees the floor, and that's what he said.
Yes,
the center does see the whole floor, so he needs to be that vocalist and be that defensive anchor.
And the thing about Daniel Tice is that I don't think people like actually pay attention a little bit more. He's not the he's not the best defender that you can possibly ask for, but he actually puts in a whole lot of effort, in contesting shots and blocking shots when necessary.
Yeah, he
think
does.
about it when necessary.
He's an opportunistic player.
And plus, he plays with energy. Yeah. He plays with energy too.
Yeah. And then the next person to come on the podium was David Nwaba, which was a free agent that came back to Houston. The good defensive presence from a guard perspective. He said the reason why he came back was because he loved Houston. He loves the youth. He says it's a good place to play. It's warm. We have a good group of guys here. And, to be 100% honest with you, I can't agree with him anymore. Or like any, like, I mean, I can agree. I'm just saying that. I'm saying that. I just can't talk because I'm just so amped up for Houston Rockets basketball coming back, man. I love it.
Man, I'm excited.
I love
Very
it.
excited.
So, how did you feel about David Nwaba coming back to the Rockets, htown.digital?
I feel like it's really going to be important because as young as his team is, he needs as many veterans as possible to guide him on the right direction. And knowing how good defensively David Nwawa can be in most parts, because sometimes he has some flaws in his game, but he's going to be very important in developing Usman Garuba, who's obviously a rookie, but needs a few tips in order to become a very good defender in this league. And David Nwawa defense, it's unmatchable, and we saw that last year when he was injured. The defense did not look the same. The defense looked like they were allowing a lot of post-ups. They were allowing a lot of free shots. Like, there was not really good guards, you know?
Right. Yeah. I feel like David Nwaba, if he continues to develop his shot as well, he's going to be a good perimeter shooter.
Indeed.
So I feel like that's a lot to look forward to, because I feel like the Rockets as a whole has improved their shooting in the offseason for the people that actually need to shoot. Because KPJ, he said he developed his shot. Jalen Green developed his shot. So,
and besides, then a side note on that, KPJ actually takes time to work out with NBA athletic trainer Chris Brickley, who was actually recently on All the Smoke. Actually, he actually mentioned him on to Matt and Jack. You know, it's like he said, I recently worked with Kevin Porter Jr. during the summer in New York. Actually,
at the Summit.
Yeah, at the Summit,
or the Lifetime Gym called the Summit. Yeah, you get it. So the next person to come up to the podium was Jalen Green, the number 2 draft pick in the NBA in the first round, who the Rockets took. He said, quote, "This team is young, fast, and talented." He said, "The sky's the limit. We got a lot of potential. We can compete."
Mm-hmm.
He says it's a dream come true. I'm super happy. It's a blessing. And he also says that if Green messes up, he says Eric Gordon and John Wall will be there to support him this season. He said, quote, "If I mess up, I know I'll have someone to lean on." That says a lot.
He knows what he's
getting into. Because think about it. He didn't go to college.
He went straight to the G League.
Yeah, and played with the Ignite in the bubble. And he played against KPJ. Whenever KPJ was acquired from the Cleveland Cavaliers, yes. He was sent down to get his head right in RGV, a.k.a. the bubble in Orlando that the G League had.
Yeah.
And he is where he is now. I feel like that plays a big factor. Green says he's 100% and ready to go for the season. No hamstring issues because he only played, I believe, 2 games?
1 to 2 games. Yeah,
no, he played 2 games. He played 2 games, right?
Yeah, 2 games, and then he was out for the rest of the summer league.
And then he had to leave half of the game to go get his hamstring checked.
Yeah, he said he was 100%, and he says that he's good to go on a hamstring. It probably only took him 2 to 3 weeks after summer league injury. He said he's back to normal. Green said he got back to work about 2 weeks after the summer league ended for him with his hamstring tightness. He also emphasized that he was 100%. And then he says...
he was having a good time. He was... and he even showed up at the Astros game throwing out the first pitch.
Yeah.
Not too long ago.
Yeah. And then I think over the summer, Tate threw the first pitch as well.
Jay-Sean Tate actually came too.
Yep.
We need to see Sengun down there too.
Yeah, Sengun actually mentioned him going to the Astros and the Texans just so he can get a feel of Houston. I don't agree with the Texans.
We're kind of.
But you gotta get that quote unquote.
The Houston.
No. I'm gonna use their quote. You gotta get that quote unquote football feeling. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, Jalen Green also said, quote, "I kind of feel like I'm already in my second year. I know KJ is in his second year. He kind of feels like he's a vet, and I kind of feel like I'm a vet too." So they have that mentality that they've already been here. Mm-hmm. That's something rookies
they're a little bit ahead of the schedule, and which I like, which is what I like actually. But at the same time, just can't let that overbear you, in which and kill your confidence.
And another thing that he said was he talked to Russell Westbrook coming into the NBA because Green played for his AAU team
out in Cali
coming up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
it's them Cali ties, man.
So he's been having these NBA player ties guiding him
ever since he's been in high school.
That is wild. That is freaking crazy, man. He says the energy of this group is a whole bunch of personalities, lots of different swag. So that's that young mentality. I'm telling you, bro. He gives me
It's
those
young dog
Kelly vibes, dude.
Bro.
I'm telling you. And then Green says he's excited about sharing the backcourt with Kevin Porter Jr. And then he says he's been in constant communication with KPJ as well since the bubble. He says we're getting that chemistry down. So imagine that chemistry.
That duo. That's going to be one of the best duos in the next 3 to 5 years, I'd say.
I agree. What do you think? How do you feel about the duo of KPJ and Jalen Green, htown Digital? htown Digital.
Are you there, sir?
Think we might have lost connection.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, there we go.
It was lagging a little bit.
Sorry about that.
So, going back to what you were saying about KPJ and Green, I believe that it will take a couple of years, a couple of probably, I'll say, painful moments to see KPJ and Green fully flourish as a duo because they're still, very young and, we can really expect them to play like vets in the NBA in probably, I'll say, 3 years. So in the next 2 years, we're probably going to see some growing pains, but it'll be all right because we know their potential and we expect them to, take us far in the season, right? And I believe, it's just the beginning of their career, so there's nothing really to be worried about. I think much would be more worried about its health concerns or locker room concerns because, they're young and they need to be able to handle themselves as professionals. I would say I'm more worried about that than what they do at the court.
Okay, that's actually a fair point. That's a real fair point.
No, for sure. For freaking sure. So the next person to play with, to go to the podium after Jalen Green was longtime Rocket Eric Gordon. And Aaron Gordon said, was asked about his role on the team. He says, it's definitely different, but my role doesn't change. I do have to speak more. With the younger team, we have to focus more every day.
Mm-hmm. He did say that.
He did come out and say that he kind of wants a trade and wants to move to a contender because he's at that point in his career to where he needs to be on a contender. Yeah. I don't blame him.
But at the same time, I believe he actually plays a value part in the locker room.
Well, he does, but on the court,
it's not the same. I know it's not the same.
htown Digital, your thoughts on Eric Gordon?
As a whole, or what was said today in the press conference?
As a whole, on the team.
I believe Eric Gordon, last year he showed that he was an important piece in the locker room in the way he helped out the younger guys. But this year, I believe they should just probably let him play this season and see how he does. And let's say he struggles again, like how he's been doing lately after the 2018 playoffs. I'll probably say Eric Gordon should give him just one more shot and then just trade him if he, doesn't do enough influence on the young guys, since we already have John Wall here not playing, coaching them. And Eric Gordon will probably take away valuable minutes from guys like Josh Christopher or Armani Brooks,
Yeah, no, for sure. Because I feel like Eric Gordon, that the guard role is so heavy now on the Rockets.
Besides, I wouldn't sleep on Armani Brooks, actually.
Yep. Sniper Brooks.
Yeah, because, looking at his shot, it kind of reminds me of Lou Will in a way, if you think about it more.
Yep.
Yeah, and plus, also, Josh Christopher is kind of like another guy I would say don't sleep on, because I have said in the past, like, I would say probably start him at the 3, but then to rethink about it, he can play a real key role coming off the bench.
Yeah, he can. He can, and I feel like you have to incorporate Eric Gordon as that 6-man role. I feel like you're gonna have to,
and then he has to pass it on to one of those two.
Yep.
Yeah,
because this is a new age and it is a new team, and it's around that time for that to happen.
To start passing on the blood.
He says, but then he said it's going to be a fun season and that he's still going to play to win.
Okay,
and that's that.
Consider it
good mentality.
Mm-hmm.
The next person to take the podium was Daniel House. He says he's mature. He's been making music. He has a song coming out with Zero and Paul Wall. Also, he has some stuff coming up with Bun B.
Oh, Bun B always in. I'm not surprised if Bun B is in there.
Yeah, so he says that like they asked him about what he did in the offseason as from a workout perspective. He said he worked on his ball handling, defending, and jump shot, being a better decision maker and playmaker. He said he doesn't feel very different on being one of the older guys on the team after being one of the younger guys. And he also says that he worked out a lot with Gerald Green, and he says that they're neighbors. And he also sees this season as a fresh start. He says, in this league, you can never start over. Anything can revamp is your character. And I think after his little mishap in the bubble, he really did mature from the sounds of it. But we don't know for sure yet until he steps on the floor.
Yeah.
In a Rockets uniform. Then the next person to take the podium was KPJ. He said it was a successful summer of being my real first real off season of work. I pushed myself. He says the Rockets is the organization that saved my life. I just love being here, and I want to be here for a while. I love it. I love it.
Paid his man.
Yeah, he said this. He said that he needed new scenery from whenever he was at, and I honestly don't blame him. I don't blame him. He was in Toxic Land.
In Cleveland.
Toxic Land.
Indeed. The place that can't win for nothing.
Home of the Guardians. Home of the Guardians.
Yes. For people who have forgot, the Cleveland Indians plan on changing their name to the Guardians. Man. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, but what do the Cavaliers have going for them?
Other than
Sexland? Ooh. Ooh. Kevin Porter Jr. says Steven Silas and John Lucas have been sounding boards for him on and off the court. He talks to both of them constantly and seeks out advice and mentorship for both. That is wild. Majority of these players have had a connection with Steven Silas.
Coach Silas, yes.
Man, oh man, I love it.
He's a player's coach.
I love it.
Yeah, no wonder he still keeps in touch with big stars like Stephen Curry, Because remember when he was assistant coach with Paul Silas, his dad, he had to go to the Warriors to get more of a bigger role as a coach. So he developed Curry, in other words. So that's huge.
I mean, look at the work he did with Luka Doncic, for God's sake.
Yeah, I was going to mention that too. Not too recently.
And now he can actually work with really a core, not just Jalen Green, but a whole core of young players, that actually bring something to the table.
Because it's like I said, the Rockets are so guard heavy now. The offense is so like
it's gonna be hard to stop us.
Well, the potential is through the roof.
Yes,
they could do so much.
You can interchange everybody.
Yeah. And then Kevin Porter Jr. said that Stylist took him under his wing. He talked a lot, and the same thing with John Lucas and Ed. He loves John Lucas,
like I brought up earlier.
Yep. And Porter Jr. also said that the Rockets gave him the opportunity to be a point guard, but that's how he always viewed himself that way. He played point guard in high school, so whenever you stick to a position that you're growing up to, you're gonna see yourself.
You want to stay in that position,
right?
And which is another thing, H-Town Digital, which I've also brought up in past episodes actually. The main thing that was going into that conversation was mainly like asking like who's gonna be point guard, and at first, everybody thought it was probably gonna be John Wall, but I'm thinking like John Wall's gonna probably be moved, or may play a role off the bench or something like that. But I see KPJ actually as a point guard because I've seen one game that's very underrated of his is his passing.
Yeah. I feel like it's very underrated.
Because it was on some stretches where I saw that where he didn't only have like 20 points, he at least had like 8 plus assists in the game. And I was like, okay, he can actually pass, something that people don't take recognition of. So I can see Jalen playing the 2, and I can see KPJ playing the 1. And plus they both are mighty athletic and long, so it's like, I mean, come on, bro.
Then the next person to take the podium was J-Sean Tate. He says the people kept calling him the old man because of his age, even though he's a second-year person in the NBA. Your thoughts on J-Sean Tate as a whole, H-Town Digital?
Yeah, I really like J-Sean Tate media day today. I really like what he had to say about, being around people of all different ages. And he feels like he's a middle ground player in a way. Like he doesn't feel as old or as young because he's 25 years old, and
That's
he
not
can
old.
also not only about the age uh, thing, but he also can provide feedback to those players who come from overseas and the young rookies as well. He's been through that, so he has that experience, and I feel like that's really going to be important for the rookies as well. Jason Tate, and also his defense that obviously very underrated, and he was very close from winning Rookie of the Year. I don't know if you guys remember.
Yeah, he was very close. He was,
and he made all rookie second team, I believe.
First team.
I mean, sorry.
First team.
Yeah, that's. Can we say PJ Tucker's replacement?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll say that's PJ Tucker's replacement, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure. So then the next person to come up on the podium was John Wall. John Wall. And Stone's, and he did this. He did the interview with Rafael Stone, which I'm honestly surprised because he's the GM. The report came out that he wasn't going to play for the team and that they're looking for tradable suitors. He did the interview with Rafael Stone on Media Day, and Stone says John Wall sacrificed a ton for the team last year, and they asked John Wall about his decision and how he felt about leaving the team. He said it was very tough. He definitely tried to give everything he had and still had a lot left in the tank. And Stone really emphasized that John Wall can make any team in the league better. And I believe that as well. So
say that one more time, Marco. Please say that.
Rafael Stone said John Wall can make any team in the league better.
I want you to hear that again, people.
John Wall can make any team in the league, in the NBA,
better. Thank you.
He also says that John Wall has no idea where he wants to go. We're going to continue to talk and figure that out. And he also said that him and Rafael Stone are consistently staying on the same page throughout this whole process.
Once again, consummate professional.
I love it. This is what the Rockets lack.
He didn't make no drama out of the situation, whatever. He was just straight up honest. I don't know what to do.
Exactly.
Things are in the talks right now, but right now, all I'm focused on right now is helping these young guys and until further situation.
Do you think it's because he sees the potential that the Rockets have now?
Yeah, I feel like it's a different scenario when it came down to Russell Westbrook or James Harden. I feel like with the John Wall situation, he feels like he's really going to make an impact on those young guards, and his time in Houston will definitely be worth it at the end. Because I still believe John Wall was unfairly criticized last year because he came back from a horrible history of injuries that sidelined him.
The man still averaged 20.
Sidelined him for like a year, right?
Yeah.
And John Wall still had an impact on KPJ and on the season. Like all the few wins that they had last year, it was because of John Wall's impact. John Wall still has left in the tank a few more seasons under him, I believe.
Thank you.
So yeah. So that was basically Media Day in a shell. They also did their photo shoot. They also did some other stuff for like the social media channel. And all
for the Houston Rockets social media channel, yeah.
Training camp starts tomorrow or today, whenever this episode is uploaded or whenever. Training camp starts on the 28th of September in Galveston. Your training camp roster is number 0, Jalen Green. Number 1, John Wall. Number 2, David Nwaba. Number 3, Kevin Porter Jr.
KPJ.
Number 4, Daniel House Jr. Number 5, Dante Exum. Number 6, KJ Martin. Number 7, Armani Brooks. Number 8, Jay-Sean Tate. Number 9, Josh Christopher. Number 10, Eric Gordon. Number 14, DJ Augustine. Number 15, Daishan Nix. Number 16, Usman Garuba. Number 20, Kyrie Thomas. Number 27, Daniel Tice. Number 28, Alfred Sengun. Number 30, Tyler Bay. Number 33, Anthony Lamb. And to top it off, number 35, Christian Wood. Christian Wood. And they did sign forward Tyler Bay to a two-way contract to cap off this all season before.
Although we wish it was KBJ.
Well,
I mean, we wish it was Kelly Oubre. Sorry.
Well, yeah, whatever. A lot of talks about the Rockets also in the summer with Ben Simmons. H-Town Digital, I ask you this. How would you feel about Ben Simmons potentially coming here to the Houston Rockets?
I'm glad you asked that because I was gonna ask that during.
Yeah, how do you feel?
Right out my
how do you
mouth.
feel?
Yeah, about the Ben Simmons situation, I'm glad you brought that up because that's something I really wanted to talk about today about this pod. I believe Ben Simmons could help, but it could also affect the Rockets in a way because we're seeing how he's handling the situation over there in Philadelphia. Kind of looks a little bit similar to how the Deshaun Watson situation is. The team is trying to reach him and trying to talk to him, but he's just going away. You know, at least Deshaun Watson showed up to training camp. I know this is not football talk, but I'm just using it as an example.
Right.
Yes.
I believe Ben Simmons could boost up the defense and make it unstoppable because regardless of how people feels about Ben Simmons' atrocious shooting, he's still an elite defensive point guard. But he could make the transition to a different position, you know?
But my main question with that is, one, like, what do you get back for him? Number two, my most important thing, where do you plug him in the lineup, which is the question.
I mean, as of right now,
as from a perspective,
really a how can I say, established power forward or a shooting forward. I mean, small forward. Sorry. I believe Ben Simmons could fit in either or and make the transition and try to help out Christian Wood defending the rim. Because Ben Simmons, let's be honest, his shooting would not make him be an efficient point guard. So, yeah.
Yeah, but the way he defends, he kind of defends more of perimeter players than big men.
Yeah, that's the issue. So, you'll probably have to be
at the three.
Forward. But at the same time, I don't see Deshaun Tate making the transition to power forward.
That's a good point.
That is a good
way. It doesn't make sense because the only way this would make sense is if Ben Simmons goes to Houston and John Wall goes to Philly because Philly needs a real point guard like John Wall.
Yeah, yes. They don't have a ball handler.
Yeah,
they don't. So this trade, I believe, will benefit Philadelphia more than it does to Houston. The only way this benefits Houston is that they don't have to worry about John Wall's very big contract. So I guess that's a bigger plus, you know?
Yeah.
But Ben Simmons also has a bad contract.
Yeah.
I personally don't want him on the team. I feel like what we have going on right now is good.
Right.
Corb, how do you feel?
Yeah.
I don't want to mess up of an experiment that's already going right.
Right. Yeah. Okay. H-Town Digital. Anything else you want to say about the Houston Rockets?
That's pretty much it. Other than let's see what the other not very familiar faces got on training camp in the likes of Dante Exum, who was pretty much invisible last year with a apparently lingering injury on his leg. But after he had a great Olympics showdown, let's see how he does this season.
Corb, anything else you want to say?
It's getting fine and dandy up in Houston, and I'm ready for this whole ship to take off and see where we are in the next few years.
The preseason starts for your Houston Rockets on October 5th here at Toyota Center against Bradley Beal and Spencer Dinwiddie and the Washington Wizards. The next game would be here again against PJ Tucker
and the Milwaukee Bucks, the defending champions.
Nope.
Or the Miami Heat, isn't it? Miami Heat.
And Kyle Lowry.
Miami
Heat.
Dang, I keep forgetting Tucker got. Yeah.
And then they have 2 preseason games on the road against the Six in Toronto, and then they cap it off on the 15th against the San Antonio Spurs in San Antonio. Then opening night for your Houston Rockets is on the 20th, and the home opener would be on the 22nd, which I will be in attendance.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, that just wraps up about the Rockets. So with that being said, this has been episode 18. Fellas, very solid episode. I feel like. htown Digital. Would you like to plug in where the people can find you if you want them to?
Sure, yeah. So at the moment, I'm only free on 3 platforms right now. Those platforms will be Twitter, and my handle will be at footballer, FOOTBALLER, and then 503. And then you can find me on my Instagram, where most of my content is, which is htown.digital. And then on my YouTube, which I'm planning to do further content there for soccer, since I'm a big soccer fan, and possibly some football as well, American football. That will be footballer503, the same handle as it is on my Twitter.
Quick question: what team do you like in soccer?
Yeah, I was about to ask that.
National.
National, like here in the U.S.?
No, national, like country.
Yeah.
Oh, country? I have several favorites. I obviously go with the USMNT because obviously I gotta support my home country. But outside of that, I usually root for Brazil or Argentina.
Do you have a favorite player in mind? Who's your favorite player?
My favorite player, it's the all-time GOAT, Lionel Messi.
Okay.
Respectable.
Okay.
Cor, would you like to plug in your socials if you want the people to find you?
You guys can actually follow me on Instagram at cmagmcalpha0430. And you can also find me on Twitter at Carter-Dixon.
Okay, and you can find me, OG Big Mar, on literally everything. If you need a DJ, hit me up, literally. And follow the Instagram.
Follow our Instagram at Space City Sports Talk.
Yeah. And then you can also subscribe to us on YouTube, which is the first episode this will be on our YouTube channel at Space City Sports Talk. So yeah. So with that being said, what an episode. Postseason preview will probably be next week. It will feature me, Corb, htown Digital. Are you confirmed?
Yes, sir. I'm confirmed.
All right.
And a special guest of who I know very well that would be.
Well, possibly.
Possibly.
For sure. So stick around for that. That will be next week. But until we see you then, tally ho!
I'm Corben Carter-Dixon.
htown Digital, you want to say bye?
Yeah.
Yes, and peace.
Oh, okay. Well, like I said, we'll see y'all later, man. Be ready for that banger episode of the postseason preview because it's gonna be good. Thank y'all for listening, y'all. Y'all have a good one.
We out.